Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? God, it's been so long since I've last done a stream. I can't bloody remember how to do any of this. Who am I again? What's my name? I'm Lord Maulington. Yeah, I'll try not to say my real life name once I get used to doing this shit again. Once I get used to doing this shit. Here we go. How's everybody doing this evening? How's it going, gentlemen? How's it going, boys? Oh, God. I'm so tired. I feel awful. I need a holiday to come back from my holiday. I've never felt this bad before. Never felt this bad before coming back from a vacation to a completely different time zone. I must be getting old. I haven't been on holiday since before I hit my 30s. Fucking hell. Hey, Pavlo, buddy. How's it going, mate? Good to see you, my friend. The Globe Trotter returns. Hell yeah. I feel like a Harlem Globe Trotter. Yeah, I always go to America in kind of like October time each year because that's when the weather isn't not too hot for me. I'm quite sensitive to the heat. However, it's also hurricane season, right? But I really enjoy going to Halloween Horror Nights. Americans really, like, you tend to really go all out for Halloween, and Europeans don't really give a shit about that holiday. So it's always nice to go there and like go on the special attractions and go on the special food. I love going to Florida. I love Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, their Halloween Horror Night events. Really good fun. So yeah, today, hey, oh, new profile picture, hey, Rob, how's it going? Just did Spanko for you, don't tell her. I feel so bad. I was like tempted to just say Tommy Hort and go watch Panko's yapping stream myself, but I feel bad for like putting it off again. But yeah, today I'm going to show you all the magnificent food that I ate whilst in America and some of the cool shit I bought and what I got up to. You can see kind of in the first image here is a picture I took of my Reuben sandwich with fries. I fucking love Reuben sandwiches. They're so good, man. Corned beef, cheese. I don't know how kind of bread this was. You can see like there's this little, dark brown patch inside the bread. I don't know if that was like chocolate or if it was some kind of like deep toasting or something. Is that just rye breads? Thank you, medical grade whiskey. Hey, buddy. Is that what that is? Is this what rye bread normally looks like? I don't understand like what this little brown thing inside of it is. But yeah, that was the very first thing I had when I touched down. I went to a place called the Chocolate Emporium. That's in it's not in Universal City Walk, but it's near like the entrance to the theme parks, and it was $18 for a sandwich and some fries. I mean, the food prices in these parks, as you can imagine, are fucking outrageous, but I mean, they are absolutely delicious, to be fair. It's like in the United Kingdom, you can spend $40 on steak and lobster and it tastes like shit you can buy, pre-packaged from Walmart in the US, so I can't really complain. It can come in light version. Oh, is it marbled rye bread? Ah, interesting. That must be what it is then. Yeah, it's like when you go to these food places, it's about $5 for like a drink or like a soda or something. But they do refill it as much as you want. And I imagine that the business model for this is they charge $5. And they expect most people to have one, maybe two drinks. Unfortunately, these business owners haven't met Lord Maulington, who has one of the worst Coca-Cola addictions in the world, right? So I end up getting about 4 or 5 refills, which is probably like 3 liters of Coke or something. I probably drained the odors of about 3 liters of Coke each time I go, which exacerbates my already terrible acid and GERD problem. But I don't care, I love it. I think I've done this story before, right? But every time Halloween Horror Nights goes on, you can buy this infinitely renewable cup, right? So for the entire day, it's $19 for a cup, and you can refill it as much as you want on the day on the CocaCola Freestyle machines. And I think by the end of the day, I've like refilled that bad boy about 10 times. Refilled it with lime flavored Coke, which we don't have in the UK. Refilled it with tropical Coke, which we also don't have in the UK. It's like fucking crack cocaine to me. Yeah, it's like I'm suffering withdrawals already from not having access to the Coca-Cola machine. Like, let me tell you all, the difference, okay, between the United States and the United Kingdom. Being in the United Kingdom is like living in the Stone Age when you've been to the United States. Like, in the UK, we haven't discovered fire yet. We haven't invented the wheel even. And then you go to the United States and it's like fucking, it's like going to, it's like being in 1914, right? There's like cars, it's like going to a society that's invented automobiles and like industry and shit. So for the Europeans who've never been to the United States before and you don't know what it's like, America is this magical land of sorcery and invention. So in Europe, you go to a restaurant, right? And it's like you spend £4 in the UK, for example, and it's like, do you want Coke? Do you want Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, or Diet Coke? You get one glass of it as well for like £4. But in the United States, they don't do that. You don't buy a drink in the United States. What they do is they go, right, you're not gonna buy a drink, okay? You're gonna buy a container. We're gonna sell you a container. So your choices of container to buy is you can either get a giant fucking cup. We'll give you a bucket, or if you don't want the cup, you don't want the bucket, then what we do, we've emptied this fucking lake. that's just down the street, right? You can just we'll pour whatever shit you want into this fucking empty lake that's down the street. We'll pour your liquid in there for you, right? And it'll be like $2 extra if you want to have a lake worth of Coke. It's basically how it works in the United States, which is fucking great. Yeah, and then the thing is, once you've selected your container of beverage, like your mega container, you go to this wonderful machine, right? And I shit you not, Europe. This sounds like something from fucking Willy Wonka, right? This sounds like something from Harry Potter. The Americans have this machine. It's called the CocaCola Freestyle machine, and it's literally got like 200 different flavors of beverage in this one singular machine. It's like fucking, I feel like I'm like someone from, like, I feel like I'm a bongo playing native from like the fucking Easter Islands or something. And I've discovered, you know, like modern science. Every time I see the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, I see this technological wonder. I just want to like kneel before it. I want to give it offerings. I want to sacrifice to the Coca-Cola machine since it's such this marvelous invention. But they've got like 100 different flavors of Coke alone. They've got there's this brand called Barks or something that do like root beer and other shit. I tried their root beer. The Barks root beer is gross. It tastes like cough syrup. They've got like lemonades, and they've got like just more shit than you could possibly ever expect to drink in one lifetime. A question for the Americans, by the way: is Minute Maid lemonade supposed to be? Is it supposed to be fizzy? Because every time I got it from somewhere, it was flat and horrible. I don't know if I was just unlucky with having uncarbonated machines or what it was. Hey, Mr. Krabs, have you had Dr. Pepper? I don't like Dr. Pepper, actually, Mr. Krabs. I don't like the flavored cherry. I don't like banana or cherry flavored things. As an American, I did prefer Italy's Fanta when I went in the summer. Oh, really? I haven't been to Italy in quite a while, and I don't think I've ever tried Fanta there, Felix. I've tried Spanish Fanta before. That's for some reason really good. I'll have to, next time I go to Italy, I'll have to have some Fanta. They don't have soda fountains in Europe? As far as I'm aware, we don't. No, I've never seen one in my life. 31 years on this planet. Never seen a soda fountain in Europe. They charge you $5 for just the one drink, and it's either Coke, Pepsi, or the diet version of it, basically. Minute Maid is supposed to be flat. Okay. Yeah. Barks is the worst major root beer brand. Yeah. I'm not surprised, Rob. Wasn't a fan of that one. Hey, Babel. How's it going? Oh, I break your heart. You love Dr. Pepper? Yeah, unfortunately. I would drink Dr. Pepper at a push, right? I'd rather drink Dr. Pepper than water. But yeah, not a big fan of the cherry flavoring. There's Minute Maid juice and soda. Ah, okay. I must have had the juice version then. Yeah. But where was I? Yeah, so America has this... Hey, Ross. How's it going, buddy? But yeah, America has this wonderful magical machine called the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, and I miss this invention so much. I've got this basic bitch, like, zero sugar Fanta here on my desk, and yeah, I want to just drink liters and liters of lime flavored Coke or tropical flavored Coke again. I'm gonna go fucking insane now, having to wait a year again before I can start drinking this stuff. Hey, Tempest, how's it going, buddy? So yeah, I had a Reuben sandwich for $18 to begin with, and that was like, oh, one thing actually I noticed about Florida I hadn't really seen before is that there are some damn fine South American women in. Oh, by the way, it's the background music too loud. One thing I saw in America is my hearing's fucked up, so I'm interrupting myself. I'm partially deaf in my right ear for some reason, probably because of how I've been sleeping. That's my one good ear. What was I saying? Yeah, there was some absolutely like fine as fuck like South American women in Florida. I look, I'm sorry, okay, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominican Republicans, they all look the same to me. I don't know. I can't tell who was like Cuban or Mexican or whatever. They're all Mexicans as far as I'm concerned, right? But when I got to my hotel, I was staying at the Hard Rock Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel on the resort itself within Universal. And as soon as I got out the taxi, my taxi ride to the hotel, by the way, was a Mexican man. It felt like I had a very like Breaking Bad-esque like taxi ride from the airport to my hotel. Like the guy was like some really old Mexican dude who couldn't speak English, and he was playing like just positive vibes 80s Mexican music on the radio, like you'd hear in the background in Breaking Bad when they're like doing a drug deal or some sort, right? So I felt like I was in a Breaking Bad episode about to go to some like major drug deal with Don Eladio or like Chuco Salamanca or something, right? But no, I quite like Mexicans actually. Mexicans seem to be quite a happy and jovial people. They're quite nice to get along with. However, one thing that I will say about Mexicans, and Americans have this problem as well, is that they've got like the situational awareness, or maybe it's just the tourists, but they've got the situational awareness of cattle. Like all the fucking time you see big groups of Mexicans blocking like the entrances to shops and rides. They're blocking the exits to shops and rides. And generally speaking, when there's like really high like foot traffic full of people, they're like standing in the worst possible spot to make it fucking impossible to get by them. It's really weird. Apparently Mexicans have a pathological desire to get in your fucking way. Cuban women are fine. It probably was Cuban woman. But yeah, so I got out the taxi at the front of the hotel, and as I was getting out, there was some like big black SUV in front of me. I don't know, it might have been like an Escalade or something. And out steps this I'd say probably mid to late 20-year-old Mexican Cuban woman, and she was wearing like a really tight red dress, and she had black high heels, and she had, you know, like the bronze skin and the shoulder length, you know, chocolatey brown hair. And when I saw this, I absolutely I wasn't just there, I saw them like all across Florida, but when I saw this woman step out of this when I saw this woman step out of the Escalade, I was like, I started like just learning Spanish through I started learning Mexican just through horniness, right? I was like, I saw this woman and I was like, oh, me gusta mucho. Oh, señorita, por favor. Oh, señorita, por favor. Me llamo Lord Maulington. Oh, me gusta mucho. Yeah, I do approve. I do approve of those fine as fuck Floridian South American women. Fred, calm down. I will not calm down, man. Oh dear. Yeah, I did like that. Oh wait, hang on a minute. My I think my iPhone tracking has lost. Hang on a sec. So let me fix the tracking on the phone. What is going on here? I've never seen that happen before. Hey, Belgian. I might have to restart my iPhone. This is weird. Yeah, hang on, whilst I'm resetting that, I'll continue the conversation. But yeah, Maulington overloaded. I was very impressed with these finest fuck Mexican women. I also had one of those moments like in like in anime when you've got a lovey-dovey couple, you know, like being openly lovey-dovey in public. That's never bothered me before. it's never really been something that's annoyed me when people are like being really affectionate in public. But when I was like getting on the ride, I was getting on the King Kong ride, and it was quite a long wait. And there were these two, like, there's this Mexican guy and woman in front of me, who were getting all like affectionate with each other in the crowds. That was really fucking pissing me off. It was making me violently angry for some reason. I think I'm long overdue to get a new girlfriend. I think I'm lonely. There we go. Let's see if that works now. Yeah, we go. We've got tracking back. Yeah, I think I'm lonely, guys. Seeing how like happy couples just doing their thing in public makes me violently angry now, which is not good. I need to fix that. Colonization instinct activated. Oh yeah, colonization. I was like, yeah, I became Cortez when I saw these fine Floridian women, man. Oh, honestly, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take you home. Fucking hell. Normie couples destroy, yeah. In here between drops. Hey, Belgian. How much weight did you gain from superior food? Not as much as I thought, honestly, Belgian. Normally, when I come back from the United States, I actually lose weight because I'm doing about 40,000 steps a day. And as usual, I was doing about 40,000 steps a day. However, I was eating a fuck ton more food than I normally do. Like, normally, I'll have like a burger and chips, and that will last me like the entire day. But this time, I really was trying to try as many different things as possible. So I did like the full course of probably like the fattiest and richest foods that the South of the United States has to offer. So I might actually show you in a couple slides. Yeah, actually, I'll show you some slides of some of this shit I ate. So we got this here, which is not an American food. Actually, this is just a pad thai with pork belly. Actually, no, this wasn't pad thai. No, not yet. Hang on, this wasn't pad thai. This was a Korean. This was a Korean barbecue chicken bowl that I got from a restaurant called, I think it's called Calypso in Universal. I've never had Korean food before. I don't know if it's authentic, but this is pretty nice. There was a big fried egg on the top. There was like pork belly and chicken in it, and it was quite spicy. I hear like Korean chicken is really popular. People seem to like it, and yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. It was quite nice, but yeah, that was pretty good. And then whilst I was like eating my food, like across City Walk, like across the way, there was this. They were like showing American football, like NBC Sports, like above the grill and brewery place. And so I watched American football for the first time in my life, and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on, but it looked fun. I can't tell if it's like college-aged people playing, or if this is like the proper adult leagues or something. I don't know what it is. Your college football players look, they must be on juice or something, because they look like 30-year-old. They look like Hugh Jackman, right, in Wolverine, like, and they're supposed to be college-age kids. So I don't know if I was watching college football or like the NFL or something. Take care, Mr. Krabs. Ooh, excuse me. Take care, buddy. You're telling me a posh British guy couldn't instantly pull any brown woman of choice with his Sean Connery stare? Well, this is the thing, Felix. Unfortunately, I didn't approach any of them. I probably should have approached one of them. But then the thing is, the problem is, right, if I tried to pull a Mexican or Cuban woman, they might not have a green card or citizenship rights either, so I'm fucked, right? That's a waste. I need a nice American woman who can help get me citizenship. The American women don't know what they're missing. I know, right? Tell me about it. I am the sexiest male VTuber in the world. I am the most testosterone-driven, alpha male-based British guy ever. Okay, like, you get in the bedroom with me, one quick in and out session, I'll give you 5 children. That's how fertile I am. I am fertile maxing. A lot of them probably are, yes. But yeah, American football, that was a fun little sport to watch whilst eating a Reuben sandwich. Emphasis on quick. Oh dear. Actually, no, I was thinking about telling a story. But I probably should. It's probably not a good idea to talk about sex stories. I guess I don't think YouTube likes that kind of thing today. maybe if I become a kick streamer, I'll talk about some funny sex stories. Has anyone ever gone in the wrong hole before? Oh, I think. Anyway, moving on. I think when I went there, when I went to America, the most horrifying thing whilst going on Halloween Horror Nights was this: 15 hot dogs for 15 cents. That was the most terrifying thing I saw. But yeah, I mean that's just a prop. They weren't actually selling like hot dogs at 15 cents. But when I saw hot dogs for that price, fucking hell! In this economy, that was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, but I went in this cool little horror themed shop, and they had like these Mexican, I think, kind of chalices, like with skulls and like jewel eyes and things. That was pretty cool. I don't know what cultural significance this is in Mexico. They've got like that Day of the Dead or something, don't they? Like, I don't know what they call it, like La Muerta da Day of the Dead or whatever the fuck. You're wrong. Oh, you know what you're doing. Look, the thing is, Red Goliath, you see, I'm not one of those guys who believes in like soft, you know, lovey-dovey, cuddly, love-making sex. I think when you're in the bedroom, right? When you're in the bedroom, like kissing and cuddling and snuggling, that's for all your like your intimate and your love and your affection showing time. I think sex is the time for lust. Like sex is the time to really get in there and get aggressive with the female, right? So Dia de los Muertos. It's technically 3 days. Oh, okay. Actually, no, I'm not going to go on that rant, Rick Love. I was going to go on a rant about how to perform proper love, how to perform proper love making. But maybe I'll do a stream on that. I'll teach you guys how to have sex properly. Right, but hang on. Let's move on. So I went to Harry Potter Land, and I found the Hogwarts Express. Found the platform 9 3/4, which is pretty cool.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
You're a wizard. And a bloody good wizard.
Hey, Club Time. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Yeah, I found the Hogwarts Express, which is pretty cool. One thing I found really weird is that Americans seem to be absolutely fucking obsessed with Harry Potter. Like, there are so many people. Like, every time I go to this Harry Potter land, it's overcrowded as fuck. There are grown-ass adults in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s even, acting like children dressed in the Harry Potter robes. They've got like the wands and shit, and they're just going absolutely mental over this stuff. So when I went to the Harry Potter land, there was some sort of weird Latin American gang war going on, right? I noticed that all the Mexicans were dressed up in Slytherin merch and Slytherin robes. All the Brazilians were dressed up in Hufflepuff shit. And what I assume were like the Puerto Ricans, maybe Cubans and Dominican Republican people. They were all dressed up like Gryffindor, and obviously the not Native Americans, white Americans were dressed up were all dressed up in Gryffindor too, with the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, probably the Cubans as well, I assume. And like literally fucking no one bought Ravenclaw merch. I didn't see a single person representing Ravenclaw, and that apparently no one likes Ravenclaw. But yeah, it was really weird. There was like this weird Latin American like fucking wizarding gang war going on between the Mexicans and the Brazilians, like the Slytherins and the Hufflepuffs. So anyway, whilst this was all going on, I was representing with the Mexicans. You see, I bought Slytherin merch myself. I thought, yeah, I'm going to join the Mexicans in on this one, all right? No one wants to fuck with the Mexicans. I joined the Slytherin cartel, okay? El Slytherino is what I joined. People in the 30s grew up with Potter. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, I'm British. I grew up with Harry Potter, but I stopped liking Harry Potter when I was 16. Not even when I was 16. I think when the Half-Blood Prince movie came out, and I probably was around about 14, 15, 16, around about that time. I'm not quite sure how old I was then. Yeah, that's when I grew up. That's when I stopped liking Harry Potter, personally. Hey, Hero. How's it going, buddy? What did I miss? Not much, really. I did mention how fine Mexican women are, Hero. I saw a smoking hot Mexican woman at my hotel, and I found her so attractive, it just like instinctively made me start speaking Mexican. I was like, oh, señorita, por favor, oh, come to el Maulington. Oh, me gusta mucho. Hell yeah. Slytherins Death Eaters have the best aesthetics. They do. I really like green on silver. It's a very nice color combination. It looks what do the kids today say? It looks demure as fuck, green on silver. America has an obsession with nostalgia. I did notice that actually, Covering Time. I quite like it. I'm quite a nostalgic person myself. Salazar Slivering is a Hispanic name, actually, Felix. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, that's probably why. I was in elementary school during Deathly Hallows. Oh, fucking hell, that's terrifying to think about how quickly that's gone in. Ravenclaws are all shut in nerds who stay out of the sun. Yeah, that's probably it. Florida is very sunny and it is very hot. But yeah, so I took a picture of the train, the Hogwarts Express, and they had like this little model, I guess, thing of Hogwarts Castle, which they rebuilt up in the distance, and that was very cool. They put a lot of effort into it. They really went all out on trying to recreate like Hogwarts and that little village that they go to during the school holidays, which was fair play to them. Yeah, I mean, every time I go to America, there's always been quite a lot of Mexican tourists there. I noticed this year there was a lot of, I don't know what Portuguese sounds like, but I know what Mexican sounds like. So I assume the language I heard was Portuguese. There seems to be a lot of Brazilians going to the United States these days as well. So yeah, America is becoming more and more of a popular tourist destination for the Brazilians as well, it looks like. Hey, Slice, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, probably Brazilian tourists, Pablo. Yeah. More pictures of Hogsmeade. Oh yeah, and this is some more pictures I took of like the cool shit in this little horror shop. Could have had a plague mask there. I was really tempted. Every time I went to like these display cabinets of like horror stuff, I was always super tempted to buy something. But that plague mask, I think that plague mask was like $200 or something. That was a bit excessive. Is it expensive to get in there? I guess it depends. That's relative, right? I guess for expensive. I think the holiday in total cost me £3,300. The entire holiday package cost, and the hotel was about 200. No, it wouldn't have been that. No, the hotel was about $115 a night, and that's in a 5-star hotel, which also gives you a free fast pass for Universal and Islands of Adventure. So when you take all that into account, it's actually a fucking bargain, honestly. I think that's super cheap. I imagine it'd be a lot cheaper if you're actually in America or maybe even South America, because obviously a lot of the price was the plane ticket as well, and the other nonsense that comes from not being in the NAFTA area. Hey, Carol. Vitam, Carol. Vitam. Long time no see. It is, I know. I'm really busy trying to get the fucking Faith Connect documentary out, so that's like, I can stream consistently, make other videos and work on this phase video, unfortunately, since it's such a fucking massive project. So that's why sadly I'm not putting out much content at the moment. I've been to Disney World way too often. I'd rather hit Universal Studios. Yeah, I do like Universal Studios Tempest. The problem is with Disney is that it's far too overcrowded these days. Unfortunately, they sell way too many tickets and it's way too popular. For the last 10 years or so, every time I tried going to Disneyland, it's impossible to get a seat to eat in any single one of the restaurants, and it's not helped by the fact you've got these absolute fucking retards every time in the Disney restaurants who, as soon as they like go into the restaurant, they immediately grab a seat, even though it's going to take them 40 minutes to actually like queue up, get their order, and then need to eat. So the problem is that when you go to Disney, when you go to like the Disney park restaurants, half the fucking tables have been taken by people who won't be eating for another 40 minutes. So the people who actually have their food and could eat it and then get out and then free up space, you know, it's like you have to basically go outside and like sit on the wall or something, or like sit or like on the fucking floor and eat your shit outside in the sun, because of all these dickheads who take up all the seats. Whereas in Universal, most restaurants there have a system where you can just go sit at the table and then you can just use an app to order all your shit at the table, or they have, I don't know, someone who like guides you to a table once you've actually got food in your hand. So yeah, my user experience at Disney World progressively gets worse and worse, and obviously Disney are really fucking greedy, and they get greedier as the time goes on. So they've also completely gotten rid of all forms of free fast pass as well. I think in the past you could get like free fast passes a day, free fast passes a day, right? And now you have to pay ridiculous amounts of money for any form of fast pass, and it's like 75 minutes to 95 minutes to queue for fucking anything. so I didn't go to Disney World this year. I'm sick of it, quite frankly. Nice Polish. Thank you, Carol. That's a heavy expense. Never figured out why you'd measure money in weight. Hey, Whimsy. How's it going? Yeah, Whimsy. I'm going through some vacation pictures, and I've took some pictures of a lot of stuff I ate, and a lot of pictures of some of the stuff I got up to. What are you drinking, Whimsy? What are you drinking? Citizenship when? That's a funny thing, Carol. The green card lottery for the United States has been open to people from the United Kingdom for the last 2 years, which is really weird because the United States is normally like the #1 immigration destination for British people. So the way the US green card lottery works is, if your country, if your country has had less than 100,000 people or something immigrate to the United States in the last 365 days, then the year after that, America will let that country enter what's called the Green Card Diversity Lottery. And the way the Green Card Lottery works is, as long as your country hasn't had too many people immigrate to the United States, you literally just put your details in there and register your interest for US green cards. And then what they do is, in a year's time, they will randomly select 50,000 people from the pool and then give them green card, give them immediate permanent residency status. So I've applied for that this year. The last 2 years, I think, have been the only times in my living memory, certainly, that the green card lottery has been open to people from the United Kingdom, which is strange. I don't know why British people aren't immigrating to the United States so much anymore, but I'm not complaining. It's given me an opportunity to fucking get in there. I went to Universal one time, got to ride the Jaws ride. That was fun. Yeah, I fucking loved the Jaws ride, Tempest. That sadly, that Jaws ride closed down like 20 years ago or something. It's not there anymore, which is quite sad. I really enjoyed that one. Oh, you've actually started doing your own videos. I can't imagine the beast you're tackling with the documentary. Yeah, I've seen your channel before actually, Hero. I looked at some of the shorts and stuff you had on there. I'll go check out some of your videos later actually. Yeah, I always like watching other VTubers get in on pre-recorded videos. Yeah, I think this phase documentary is seriously going to be about 6 hours long. I mean, I'm going to include like literally everything of some significance. So it's going to be quite a lot of work. I think so far, when I take a look at how big the script is for this documentary on phase, I would say it's probably going to be longer than Game of Thrones. Like genuinely, it's going to have a bigger word count than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has a word count of 80,000 words, and so far I'm about a third of the way through the documentary, and I've done about 34,000 words. So yeah, the phase documentary will be longer than Game of Thrones. Even after seeing all the tabs you got. Yeah, I'm sitting at 140 tabs now, all phase connect related shit. It's going to be real fun editing all that into the video, but it needs to be done, I guess. As an Eastern European, never understood why people would love it that much. Well, the thing is, Carol, I did try to immigrate to Poland about a year or two ago. I would have liked to have lived in Gdansk. But obviously, as you can imagine, Polish businesses aren't particularly keen on like hiring, British people who can't speak the language, unfortunately, especially as we're not in the European Union anymore. So yeah, it's difficult. I was drunk last night, but it was you trying to get an interview with Dizzy or Lumi. I forget. I got later. Yeah, an interview with Lumi. That's not happening. But yes, actually, I'm trying to get an interview with Mumi from Phase Connect, and I'm also trying to get an interview with Dizzy Dokuro as well. The problem is, Mumi has her DMs open, so I could reach out to her. The problem is that I can't find a way to reach out to Dizzy. Dizzy doesn't have her DMs open, and she doesn't have like a personal email that you can send inquiries to. So I don't know how I'm going to get hold of Dizzy to see if I can get like an insider interview with her. And of course, even if I could contact Dizzy, I'm not sure Dizzy would. I'm not sure I'm the kind of person Dizzy would perhaps agree to an interview for. I don't know. The thing is, right? So I don't know. Like some people in Phase Connect are aware of me, and some people aren't. Like Kanako Lumi's seen more than one of my videos. I know for a fact she's seen at least 3 of my videos, so she seems at least interested in my posts. But It's like I don't know if Phase Connect thinks I'm a fucking weirdo, or I'm perhaps too yab or too dangerous of a person to like do any form of even if it's just like a neutral interview kind of thing. I don't know if I'm like off limits to them. So if I am able to get a hold of Dizzy or someone, it'd be interesting to see if that would be greenlit and if they'd be willing to do that. I guess we'll find out at some point. Oh yeah, having peach flavored iced tea. You know, I've never been a tea or coffee person, but I reckon maybe if I try some kind of fruity tea or some kind of like frozen fruity tea or something, maybe that will help me get into like tea and coffee for once. I don't know. My family doesn't need to worry about green cards. Belgian is the only non-citizen technically. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Gdansk is mostly German. I know. I really want to live somewhere that's like near like near like the waterbed though, Carol. Not just a lake. I'd like to live somewhere that's like near an ocean or something like that. So yeah, I'd like to live on like the northern Gdansk or somewhere. Dizzy's on vacation for next week as well. Oh, is she? Yeah, I need to catch up on the stream she did yesterday. From what I understand, she did like a very open stream about herself, like yapping yesterday, and that took my interest. So I want to watch that and see what that's about. Yeah, you never know unless you ask. Exactly. I'm not afraid to ask them. I have asked Mumi, and I would ask Dizzy, but I don't know how to get in contact with Dizzy for the interview, unfortunately. I don't know if Pippa has her DMs open. I might see if I can get an interview with Pippa as well, maybe, see if she'll do one. But yeah, hopefully. I think one thing that would be cool actually would be if I could interview every single member of Phase Connect. But I think in order for that to realistically happen, I think I kind of have to prove myself with the people who would be more open to it. I think the people who would be most open to like an interview would be people like Dizzy and Pippa, and then maybe if I am able to get interviews with those two and that goes fine, then maybe the others would be open up to that kind of shit as well. Because I think a lot of people are would be very interested in like the inner workings of what's going on in Phase, and what talents and people, what the talents themselves think about how things have gone over the years. So I do want to ask like those pertinent questions that I know the fans are absolutely dying to hear. So it'd be great if I could get an opportunity to ask that for them. Hey Miroslav, how's it going, buddy? Not missed much really. I've just been yapping about some food, about how much I really enjoy Mexican women who are absolutely fine as fuck. And Gdansk is great, at least to visit. Oh, you've been to Mimsy. Yeah, I'm definitely going to at least visit Gdansk at some point, see what it's like. Go all in and interview Oishi. Normally I'm not the kind of person who has like social anxiety well, it's not that I don't have social anxiety. I do get nervous speaking with people I'm unfamiliar with or don't know. But I'm a really confident, like optimistic person. So like I'm happy to just I'm the kind of person where you can throw me in like a room full of people I've never met, and I'll be like, hey, what's up guys, how's it going? And just be myself and just shoot the shit with them and just be like really fucking weird and cringe. So I'm not normally the person to get like to get anxious with people, even like really popular people. Like let's say for example, I asked Pippa for an interview and I got an interview with Pippa, and we were like doing this interview in front of 3,000 people. That wouldn't bother me one bit. But but when you're doing the interview with the Kamioshi, right, that's a bit different. That would make me a bit nervous because you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of the Kamioshi, right? Whereas with Pippa, I don't give a shit what Pippa thinks about me. Right. You should start working on grooming their new JP manager, Rin. Yeah, I saw their new hires and their like kind of their kind of introductions. It's good to see Phase getting bigger. They're gonna need it, obviously, now that they've got a new Phase Invaders wave coming in and they're auditioning for Gen 4 for next year. Phase is getting pretty big. They're gonna need all the help they can get. Is it Gdansk or Danzig? Danzig. Oh, okay. Whatever, whichever one. Oh, thank you very much for the membership. Thank you very much for the re-up, my buddy. So the hurricane didn't get you? No, fortunately, the hurricane didn't get me, Lion. So I was in the red zone of Hurricane Milton. I was deep in the red zone. I was in Orlando. And when the hurricane, I guess, kind of touched in the United States, it was still in the red zone. But I think when it was still at sea, when it was still in the what's it called? What's the ocean called again? that's between Florida and Cuba. I forget its name. The Gulf of something. Is it the Gulf of Mexico? Let's just say it's the Gulf of Mexico. But yeah, obviously when the hurricane was still in the Gulf of Mexico, it was a Category 5, but I think it was a Category 3, Category 2 by the time it actually hit Tampa. And so once it passed over Orlando, it was like only a Category 2, 3. So there were heavy winds. There was a lot of rain. Everything had been closed down for 2 days. The sandbags were up. There was some damage and debris. Some trees had been knocked over, and some people, I think, in really like shoddy housing, did have like some major damage. And kind of not too far outside of Orlando, some other smaller areas like had their shit broken as well. So there was like a 2-day period whilst I was on holiday where I literally couldn't do anything because everything was shut. So I took that opportunity actually to go like wandering around on foot. I just decided to be like a bit of a nomad, a bit of like a Ronin. I just went around seeing if, you know, some of the people who maybe had like, who needed help sandbagging or needed help like putting shit away. I basically went around as like free muscle for hire, and I just went around to like neighborhoods and just helped people like sandbag their homes up and help people just clear and put like some of their shit away and like help people strap stuff down. So that was pretty fun. I met some interesting characters. It's really funny actually. I was helping these 2 black guys like get their house ready for Hurricane Milton, and as I was like walking down the street, I don't know what it was. It must be like my fashion sense or just something about me just immediately like screams North American, but they thought like I was a hippie at first. Like they saw me walking down the street and they were like, "Hey, hippie," and I was like, this is the second time this has happened now. The last time I went to the United States, like random black people thought I was a hippie as well. But anyway, I was like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And they were like, these 2 guys were hilarious. They were worried about their roof being blown off. So they got like these gigantic like fucking straps, right? And that they put over the roof of their house, and then they like bolted. Then they like put a bolt at the end of the strap to like bolt them into the earth, and they thought that they could literally strap their roof down in case the hurricane blew it off, which I thought was fucking funny. But anyway, I spent an afternoon with these 2 random black guys. I was just helping them stow their shit away and sandbag their house up. That was fun. After like a week and a half of just like eating 3,000 calorie like South American food, like dripping in grease and cheese and all that horrible stuff that really, you know, escalates the calorie count. I at that point I could have done with a bit of like physical exercise to do some like hard labor and to, you know, like get the muscles pumping and shit, right? So that was good fun. I spent 2 days just trying to help people get ready for the hurricane. You did send her the questions you're going to ask her, right? For Mumi, yes, I did give Mumi a full rundown on kind of what the interview would look like. The problem I'm having with the Dizzy interview at the moment is I don't even know how I can get into contact with Dizzy to ask her for an interview, because she doesn't have her DMs open and she doesn't have like an inquiries email to contact her for. So I don't know how I can contact Dizzy. If you guys do watching have like secret insider contacts in Face Connect, or anyone from Face Connect is watching right now, please help me get in contact with Dizzy so I can see if I can try and arrange an interview. Hang on. Have I lost connection? Is my internet dying? No, it's not. Okay. Cool. Oh, thank you very much for the membership, Vega, my buddy. Thank you very much, my friend. Good to see you again. How are you doing, Vega? I used to live there before moving to Texas. You try Cuban coffee? I'm not a big enjoyer of coffee in general, slices of lemons. If you've seen my Face Connect coffee review video, you can see I'm not exactly the best person to try coffee. But maybe I'll try some Cuban coffee. I hear it's very nice. I'll give it a go. That's nice and real charitable. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Felix. I mean, it is nice and charitable, but I guess I kind of didn't do it out of, I guess, godly, you know, love. Out of godly love for one's neighbor. I admittedly I did do it just because I was bored. I wanted to do something productive with my time. But then I guess it's charitable to elect to do that instead of just staying in the hotel room, right? Well, you are all about peace and love. Sometimes I'm all about peace and love. Sometimes I get really fucking angry and annoyed with things, and I'm about war and aggression, Pablo. Minute Maid is not supposed to be fizzy. As a general rule, it isn't very good. Ah, thank you. Oh, we got a Star Knight here. I don't think I've seen you here before, Orange Star Knight. Welcome to the channel, Orange Star Knight. I say Minute Maid isn't supposed to be fizzy. Yeah, that would make sense. I tried it and I was really disappointed by it, honestly. I didn't like it at all. I feel like Minute Maid lemonade would be good if it was like a fizzy lemonade kind of thing. Maulington and his wandering hippie arc. Yeah, I kind of understand why the first set of black people would think I was a hippie, because when they saw me, I was like wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I was like wearing like shoes with like work socks. So that is a kind of hippie boomer look. But I thought I was being quite fashionable this time. But black Americans still think I'm a hippie. I don't know why. Oh, take care, Tempest. Yeah, you gotta have a lay down. Rest his old bones, Tempest, my dear. Good to see you back on the live, lads. Yeah, thank you, Vega. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Just shamelessly sent a super chat. Fucking hell. Oh no, I can't do that. I have the balls, right, to just go straight up, just straight up ask anyone in FaZe Connect directly, like, hey, would you be open to an interview, an insider interview on what's going on? But I think that to do it via super chat, that will not make me very popular with both with the VTuber in question, and that wouldn't make me very popular with the community either. Second, in the Dizzy super chat technique, I really don't think sending them a super chat with that kind of thing would go down very well. Personally, I think that's against the VTuber etiquette to do that kind of thing. Also, how long is your hair? That's the thing, Pavlo. My hair's short. I always have a what's it called? I always have the same haircut, and my haircut it's a fade. I have a fade haircut, right? Think World War II era kind of German army kind of haircut is what I have. And there's no, by the way, when I say that, okay, when I say I have a World War II German army kind of haircut, right? I did it before Peaky Blinders made the fade a very popular haircut, and no, I don't have that haircut because I'm some kind of, you know, sympathizer for the funny mustache man. I just think it's a really fucking cool haircut. All right, calm down. Mumi could probably pass on a request, maybe. The thing is though, Pablo, is that Mumi is obviously she's a ridiculously busy woman at the best of times, and now she's got like FaZe and Vadis that on board, plus the auditions for Generation 4 as well. So Dizzy has been trying to get in contact with Mumi for her to just appear on FaZe Weekly for God knows how many weeks now, and has been declined, right? So Mumi's definitely not gonna waste her time with me, right? But this is the thing with the interviews, I'm perfectly happy to do those pre-recorded. They don't have to be live streams as well, and I can send them the questions ahead of time so they don't feel like blindsided by anything, and obviously we can agree what isn't off off limits. But yeah, that is something I like to do. I know the FaZe community would really like to learn a bit more about what's going on, you know, behind the VTubers, and I like to do interviews to try and pry that information out of them. But at the moment, it's just difficult to find a way to get into contact with any of them to even ask in the first place. So yeah, if you guys want to help me out, if you want to let, if you've got any contacts, if you know anyone who can help me get in contact with like Dizzy and Pippa for an insider interview, yeah, that'd be great if you could help me out with that. Thanks. Otherwise, I'll see what I can do. Obviously, I know quite a lot of the FaZe clippers and other people, so I'll see if I can get one of them to help me out, maybe get into contact with them. Long on the top, short on the sides. Yeah, basically that's right. Yeah, shaved to almost skull on the sides, kind of longish at the top, and then it's kind of combed backwards to the side. I once sent them a ticket to ask permission on something. It took them a while, but they responded. Yeah, they tend to. Yeah, maybe if I send a request to like just the general FaZe Connect email inbox, maybe that will work. I'll give that a try maybe later. Actually, tonight I'll send them an email asking. It's just a military close cut. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the haircut is called. You mean you don't have a Charlie Chaplin mustache? I did used to have a handlebar mustache for the longest time, and then I had a Don Fry style mustache for a long time after that. But I've gone back to being clean shaven. after having a mustache for about 5 years. I don't know, just got fed up with trying to style a mustache. It's really annoying. I saw some data and it's looking good for phase. Yeah, I'm always going through the data as well, actually. There you go. It does look very good, doesn't it? So that's positive to see. Anyway, yeah, let me open some more slides. So this is at the Jurassic Park area of Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios. And there is a Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 coming out of the... Oh yeah, look, by the way, look. More Mexican families and shit posing in front of the Jeeps. Lots of Mexican families there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I also took a picture of myself next to the Jeep and next to the Spinosaurus, which I'm obviously not going to show on stream for privacy reasons. But that was good fun. It's really cool. I really like these Jeeps, you know. I'd love to buy one of these Jeeps, especially in that Jurassic Park livery. See if they'll part with one day. Maybe what Jeep is this? What's this Jeep called? Is this like a Jeep Discovery or something? Like 2000, like 1998 version? I don't know. Maybe I'll just buy one of these and then just make the livery myself and put it on. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. And then I went in the Discovery Center. Here you can eat like burgers and food and shit. And then on the lower floors, there's like fossils and like books and all sorts of cool shit on archaeology. Funnily enough, when I was a kid, actually, after watching the Jurassic Park movies, I really wanted to become an archaeologist. I really wanted to become an archaeologist at one point. Like the study of dinosaurs and fossils really interested me. But the problem was, the reason why I never did get into archaeology is because obviously the job prospects are shit. The pay for archaeologists is shit, and archaeology actually requires quite a lot of mathematics. So when I first was like growing up, I always have hated maths and physics. I like chemistry, don't like biology. And I thought as well, I didn't want to work in a job which is like primarily built around, you know, mathematics and shit, right? So instead of doing all that, I eventually did my degree and specialized in history and international relations. And then obviously after joining the military, I got a job as in the military, I got a job as an engineer. And now I'm an engineer outside of the military where I work with mathematics all day. So unfortunately, I never did quite escape my hatred of mathematics. Sadly, growing up, I had like a tiger family, not just a tiger mum. I had a tiger family growing up. So I was like the first person in my family to get into higher education. And basically doing mathematics and getting good scores in mathematics was a requirement in my family. Otherwise, I'd be like disowned essentially. So doing poorly in mathematics, even though I hated the subject, was very much not an option for me. But I hated the subject so fucking much. By the time I was about to graduate from college, I was like, yeah, look, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing maths at university. I'm doing history and I'm doing international relations because I'm gonna toast the bath myself if I have to do university level mathematics for 3 years. I am not doing it. And then I only ended up having to do an engineering degree in the end anyway, because obviously there's not very much you can do with a military history and international relations degree once you're outside of the public sector or military sector, sadly. Oh, is it a Jeep Wrangler? Okay, cool. Yeah, Jeep Wrangler. Cool looking cars, actually. I'd like to get one. There are 2 Jurassic Park cars. Oh, Felix, what's the one they have in the Lost World? I think it's a Mercedes they have in the Lost World as well, don't they? I really like that car as well. You might need a seance to contact some member of FaZe. Do you have a Luigi board? I don't have the Luigi board. I don't have a Luigi board. I wish I had the Lumi board so I can get direct contact with Lemonhorn, see if she'd be up for an interview. My wife was also interested in the field, but she said it was also a very closed and cliquey field, at least in Spain. Oh, I see. I'm not sure what it's like in the UK. I think it's just generally just a career that's very high risk, and because it just requires some funding from, you know, wealthy philanthropists like John Hammond who are just interested in it. Unfortunately, there's not much in the sciences that don't, you know, advance human civilization as such. There's not really much money in it, sadly. Maths is something that really seems to depend on a natural knack in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's weird, Pavlo. I've never had a natural aptitude for mathematics. I have a poor grasp of mathematics, generally speaking, but I do have excellent problem-solving skills. So I'm a poor mathematician, but I'm an excellent engineer because I'm an excellent problem solver. So So when it comes to engineering related problems, I usually, when we're dividing the work out, it's often better that I get someone else to actually do the hands-on engineering. And then what I tend to do is I tend to be the architect of the project, right? I tend to be the solution designer, and then other people do the actual hands-on engineering because they're better at mathematics than I am usually. So that's kind of like how an engineering team can work. You can be bad at mathematics, but you can be better at other parts of the product lifestyle. So some people are better at leadership and management. There are people like myself who are better at developing solutions, and then there are people who are terrible at management and solution building, but they're really fucking good at just like, you know, doing the hands-on work basically. I was the same thing, and now cursing engineering in college. Yeah, if it's any consolation to you, user not found, if you do university level engineering is extremely miserable. It does get better once you do graduate, and I think university and like the engineering degree in universities has one of the highest attrition rates out of any subject like out there. So if you do make it through it, you do belong to an elite brotherhood. Also, what the fuck? Hang on, my model's stuck looking down weirdly. No, that's just because of my weird head posture. Never mind, my stream's in a delay, so I'm just looking at myself through my stream. My head's doing something really weird, so I thought I got stuck again. Never mind. Military history is great for officers and teaching military history. Yeah, it is, Pavlo. It really is. I was able to basically pass in the top third of my class at Sandhurst, doing absolutely like zero revision or like learning on like my military history lessons because of my university degree. So I could just concentrate solely on the physical elements and like, you know, learning field craft and, you know, learning leadership. I didn't have to worry about theory at all throughout my officer training. So that was really handy. It cut quite a lot of the it allowed me to get much more sleep than some of the other students, fortunately. I did a lot of maths as a mechanic. Yeah, I fucking hate maths. It's such a boring subject. I like applying problem solving that has, I guess, kind of like real world tangible outcomes and such, right? I like learning, for example, I prefer learning military logistics, right, rather than pure abstract mathematics. That kind of stuff I like. I didn't know you were at Sandhurst. Yeah, all officers have to pass out at Sandhurst. How was that experience? Really good, actually. It's very weird, Sandhurst, because it's obviously due to its rich and long traditions and the kind of people who sign up in the first place, who want to go for the Queen's Commission. It's a very upper middle class institute still, and as someone who's from a very poor working class family, it was a massive culture shock, having obviously being instructed, not obviously by a lot of over the years, Sandhurst is nowhere near like as like rich, toffee, you know, and upper class as it used to be. Quite a lot of officers these days are from the working classes, but going through the mill, going through the mob, like it instills, I guess, upper classism like into you, right? I don't know how to describe it. It kind of like it turns scum into gentlemen. Sandhurst does. So like at first when I first went through, it's like a massive culture shock speaking to people who spoke in a very clean, direct, and I guess like intellectual and like reserved and thoughtful manner after living my life with, you know, working class people who swear every other words and like have very simplistic, basic, you know, takes on everything. You know, the kind of people who are like, I fucking hate these retards, you know, whatever, because they're fucking taking all the jobs in it, right? To go from that to, I guess, being in an institute of like really thoughtful intellectuals it was just a huge culture shock to me, right? So it kind of, after going through that, I went from being the kind of person who would swear every other word to finding swearing most disagreeable. Oh, it's very lower class. It's very disgusting to speak in that manner. Oh no, that's not very officerly behaviour at all. Anyway, what the fuck was I? Still feeling like shit. I think I got the flu from like some germ-ridden dickhead on the plane. So let's move on to the next slide. So I went on the Jurassic Park river adventure which is great. That's like it's like a log flume, where when you kind of go through it, there's all these animatronics of all the various different dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, and you're like on a little boat, and it's kind of like done in the theme of the movie, where it's supposed to be like just a normal tour. You see hadrosauruses, you see stegosauruses, you see brachiosauruses, and then what happens halfway through the ride, as you're like soaking in all the animatronics and the ambience, and you're having a little tour, is one of the hadrosaurs pushes your boat off course, and then you go into the raptor den, like from the first Jurassic Park movie, and the raptors have escaped their containing cell. And there's this cool little prop. There's like a boat that was supposed to be sent out to rescue you, obviously, and put you back on the tour, has crashed like into a wall, and then you see two animatronic commie Spinosaurus. I can't say their full name. The compies, right? There were two compies that are like fighting over like a bloodied vest that has a name tag of one of like the Universal, employees, like name tags on it, right? Which is a fun little thing. And then right as you go into the raptor den, you go up into this giant building, and you like that's when the log flume starts. So you go straight up. It takes you straight up at like an 80-degree angle, as it's preparing you for the drop. And as you're kind of going up this steep incline, like they get these little animatronic raptors attack you from like the sides of the boat. There's like a chain link fence between you, and the raptors kind of like scream at you, and they go attacking you. And then as you kind of like approach the drop that takes you down, you get ambushed by a couple Dilophosaurus who squirt water at you inside the boat, which is good fun. And they have like they make their little hissing noises, and they get the little coloured fins that flare up. And then just before you go down before you actually go down the drop, there's like a massive like T-Rex head and body just comes like out of the pitch black mist. There's like this pitch black section like full of mist, and you see this giant T-Rex head and body just suddenly come out of it, and it roars at you right just before you go down. And it's always such a delight to go through that. I think one day I went down this ride about 11 times, like in succession. I had so much fun in it. I fucking love the Jurassic Park ride. It's such a mood. It's just such a fun ride to go on. It's just like a 10-minute little boat ride where you're just soaking in the sun, and people are like the voice is talking to you about dinosaurs. I love it. I remember that as a kid, I face planted when the T-Rex drop came in. Yeah, it's really weird. Sometimes you get absolutely soaking wet on that ride, and then sometimes I'm like basically dry as a bone. Don't know how that works. I never liked math, but I was good at them. There was a time in high school that I even taught the football team that sat near me at class. Yeah, I had to do that at one point as well, Lion. I was in school in the UK. You get put into what are called class sets, depending on how good you are at a subject. So there's like sets 1, 2, and 3, which is like you are good at this subject. So so these are where the good kids go, and they do the most difficult paper, which has the highest potential score on it. And if you aren't good enough to be in the top 3 sets of a subject, then you get put in like the bottom sets, which is like 4, 5, 6, and 7, and you get put onto a lower paper. And the lower paper has a much lower cap as well of final score you can get, but it's a much easier paper, right? So you're guaranteed to not do terribly, but it is impossible for you to do well. So to put that into American kind of perspective, if you're in the top 3 sets, you can get anything from an A star to a U, and if you're in the bottom sets, you can get no better than a C, but you have to be a special kind of retard to not get the C grade, right? So that's how the British education system works. So yeah, when I was in school, I was in the bottom set for geography because I couldn't fucking be bothered to even do my tests in geography because I wasn't interested in the subject. But it wasn't because I was too stupid to do geography. I just didn't give a shit, right? So obviously all the popular cool kids who were good at sports were all in the bottom set for everything. So when I was in this geography class in the bottom set, I was basically like doing everyone's like fucking homework and group work for them because they were too stupid to do it themselves, right? So unfortunately, that did make me very popular though. You play ball with that shit, you get very popular, fortunately. Interesting, I can't speak for West Point, but the Air Force Academy was fairly egalitarian in a true cross-section of America. if everyone was really upper class, they kept that shit to themselves. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll go on a little tangent about Sandhurst actually, just for a second, Pavlo. So, Sandhurst for a long time has had, and I think it's a completely fair reputation, as being a nepotistic organisation. To some extent, it still is, but it depends on what regiment you want to join. So the way officer selection works in the UK is that you don't select let's say an MOS like in the United States. You don't select a job going in. You don't say, okay, you don't go to like the recruiting office and say, okay, I want to be an infantry officer. That's not how it works, right? You go to the recruiting office, and I don't know how it works anymore. Actually, this was over 10 years ago when I did it. But you go to the recruiting office and you say, oh, I want to join up as an officer. You know, you have an interview with the recruiter. You fill in some tests. You know, you give them your details. You know, you give them your educational history, blah 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 blah. And then what you do is you get invited to a pre-assessment course that determines whether that's like a group leadership course that basically determines if you have the right stuff to potentially be an army officer. So there's like group building exercises, there's team exercises and challenges and shit. And as you're going through the pre-assessment course, obviously there are officers at the day who like have their clipboards, noteboards, and are noting stuff down. They're observing you to see how active you are, like, you know, who's calling the shots, you know, who's listening, who's coming up with the good ideas, you know, are you getting stuck in, you know, basically it's the initial, you know, standard sifting process. Then once you're in, you've got you spend 3 years there. You know, each term you're doing something different. One term, you know, you're focusing on leadership, another one is physical fitness, and then blah blah blah. And then what happens is when you're approaching kind of like your last term, what happens is you get graded by the academy, and they essentially put you into thirds. So you're either put into the top third of officers, you're in the middle third of officers, or you're in the bottom third of officers. And as you can imagine, with the whole purpose of the third system is to filter out officers who in theory don't quite have what it takes to join some of the more you know, prestigious regiments that require more from officers. So if you're in the bottom third, for example, you probably aren't going, you won't even be allowed to apply for an infantry regiment, right? If you're in the bottom third of officers, you know, you've probably been put on a company commander's warning at some point. Your level of physical fitness is probably quite poor, and your leadership potential is probably quite poor. So they're not even going to let you apply to join an infantry regiment. But in your kind of final year, you get assessed, you get put into the third system, and then what you have to do is you have to apply directly to a regimental corps. And once you apply to them, you then have to basically interview with them, and during the interview stage, you'll meet at least a colonel, maybe a major, and a bunch of other officers of various grades, captains, lieutenants, majors, whatever. And they'll ask you, they can ask you literally anything, right? They can ask you about what you think about stuff that's going on in current affairs, current political situations, what you would do at a certain point in history. Like, for example, I was asked, what was that? What's my question they asked me? They asked me something like, what would I do? I can't remember what they asked me now. It was something relating to like the interwar period. It was vaguely something about if I was in charge of the Admiralty, like during the interwar period after World War I, like what would I do to prepare the British Empire for war with France in terms of like its naval power, something like that. I can't exactly remember what the question was, but obviously, if you're in the top thirds, then you can apply for regiments like the cavalry, something like the parachute regiment. And if you're in like the middle third, probably cavalry and the parachute regiment will be off limits to you. They won't even entertain you interviewing for them in the first place. And then like in the bottom third, you basically take whatever the fuck you can get, and that's normally something like signals or logistics tends to be like the most undesirable regiments or corps. So people tend to get like just shoved in there when no one actually wants to go. But yeah, as you can imagine, because of that interview stage, during that interview stage, they want to get a good grasp of not only your competencies as a potential young officer, but they also want to get to know who you are and what you're about. And as you can imagine, they want someone who will be a good fit, not just in militaristic terms, but also someone who will fit in with like the culture and the clique, like the values and expectations of that particular regiment. So as you can imagine, as someone who's very poor, someone who comes from a poor working class background, it's like, yeah, it's like I'm not going to fit in with a bunch of cavalry officers, am I really? Who like live in, you know, expensive countryside estates and do polo and, you know, have expensive brunches with doctors and lawyers and CEOs and shit on the weekends. So I mean, not everybody who joins the cavalry, for example, is like upper middle class and of minor aristocratic backgrounds. But if you're working class, it's like, yeah, that's personality, I guess, fit is really gonna like heavily filter you out from potentially getting into those regiments, right? That's kind of how it works. Yeah, that damn drop. Nobody told me about it when I first read that one. Yeah. Moving to America stream when? Hopefully next year, Sakana. Hopefully next year I can do it. I've applied for the green card lottery. I'm in. So the green card lottery, I think the green card lottery will start in May of 2025 and it will end in October of 2025. So during that May to October period next year, I'll find out if I will be given US permanent residency. And then if I am granted US permanent residency, I will be moving to either, I'll be either moving to Alabama, I'll be moving to Texas, Florida, or North Carolina, potentially. One of those 4 places. The thing is, when I'm looking for states to move to in the United States, I'd like to move somewhere that's very based in Southern, but somewhere that isn't like being, I guess, somewhere that isn't being ruined by immigrants from any country and immigrants from within the United States as well, right? So basically, I want to move to a place that is based in Southern and also isn't getting a large influx of like New Yorkers and Californians and like Canadians who are, you know, Democrat voters and very, you know, very leftist people who will like come in and vote for, you know, the same people, the same policies and bring their shit, you know, New Yorker ways with them, right? I don't want to move to the United States for economic reasons or even really political persecution reasons, even though I do feel like a bit like a political prisoner here in the UK. I want to move to the United States essentially because I want to live in a country who is proud of what it is and its culture, and I want to live alongside like-minded folks to protect and, you know, like cherish my local community and culture. I don't want to live in an area or be one of those people who basically treat their home like it's just another fucking economic zone. I want a home. I want like a cultural and spiritual home to put my roots down. I'm sick to death of living with people, both within and out the country, who basically see life purely in terms of like monetary gain and see it in terms of like economic zones. I want the social element. I want a community that I can be proud of and that I want to live in and protect. I don't just want more money, right? If you know what I mean. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Definitely Texas, mate. Good food. Then there's an amusement park here where you can drive tanks. Oh fuck yeah! Maybe I'm moving to Texas. Fuck yeah! Let's go to Texas. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. For base considerations, it can vary greatly based on the country, so definitely research which county you wind up in. Yeah, that's the thing, Pavlo. It's going to be a difficult balance between moving to a place where I can actually get a job in my current field and earn a decent living, buy a house, and then live in like a community that I would fit in nicely with. It is a beautiful country. I do love the United States. Thank you very much. Oh, fucking hell, Vega. Sorry, I keep forgetting what that currency is. Thank you for the 2 blue money, Vega. Maulington Gun Handcam 2025. You know, if I did become an American, I would do a live stream of me like going to a shooting range and like showing off all my guns and shit. I'd buy about $20,000 worth of guns and I'd happily show them all to you on stream and we go shooting them and I'd like autistically be, you know, taking them apart, putting them back together. I'd try to replace Paul Hickox, right? I tried to replace, not Paul Hickox, that's his name. Oh, fucking hell, Felix, what's that guy's name? Paul Harrison? Hickox is the other gun YouTuber channel. Try to replace Paul Harrison, right? I'd be like the British guy in the internet, like in the woods of Alabama, like teaching you which pistols you need for home defense, right? No, come to Florida, we have the hot Cubans. That is true. I do really like Florida, Felix. I would pick, Florida would be my first most important pick, but the problem is with Florida is that you are being flooded with Democrats and New Yorkers and Californians and shit who will ruin that state, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want to like stay in Florida. I can deal with hurricanes destroying my house and my livelihood. I can potentially rebuild that shit. That's fine. But what you can't rebuild like community and shared values, right? So I don't want to like move to Florida only to have to move to a completely different state in like 10, 15 years because all the fucking New Yorkers have ruined it and turned it into shit, right? Hickok 45 is sadly getting on in age. He is, God bless him. I love that man. Mal, you're fantastic. Paul Harrell, thank you, Felix. Thank you. I am indeed fantastic. Yes, I am very fantastic, guy. Thank you for noticing. God bless you, and I are not so different. I have about 15k. Really? Oh, Vega, you have to show me. You have to send me pictures, Vega. I want to see what pictures of your guns. Yeah, the halfback. Someone, I think it was Felix, mentioned the halfbacks that you guys have in the United States. I want to move to a state that doesn't have very many halfbacks. It's the halfbacks you have to watch out for. Move to Florida from New York, New Jersey. Life's just too hot. The move halfway back up and down to North Carolina. See, Pavlo, I do really like you, Pavlo, but that's exactly the kind of person, you know, like I want to avoid. You seem like a good guy, Pavlo, so that's fine, right? But I don't want these fucking, I don't want to move to a place that has people, you know, who are like, oh yeah, this seems like a good idea. Actually, no, that's terrible. I'm gonna move to this other popular destination, right? Yeah, DM me on Twitter, Vega. I want to see it. Yeah, yeah. Just have more kids than the New Yorkers coming down. Hey, Pascal Saucer. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. How's it going, Pascal? But anyway, yeah. So whilst I was looking at like merch and shit to buy at Universal Studios, I saw this really fucking cool like statue here of Robert Muldoon being attacked by that Velociraptor. Clever girl. I was really tempted to buy this, right? But for $400 for essentially a glorified standee that could easily break, I could easily knock this off or lose it. I didn't want to quite spend $400 for this, although I did really want this, so this looked super fucking cool. And then here at the bottom, we've got like the famous shaving cream can that hides the dinosaur embryos, right? There's a lot of other shit down there as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good picture of the other stuff in this display cabinet because it reflected too much and you could see my entire person on it, sadly. I couldn't get a good photo. But what they were also selling in this display cabinet is they had a signed picture of Jeff Goldblum, right, in Jurassic Park 1 when he's like lying on that medical bench and he, for some reason, like he's got his shirt unbuttoned and he's proudly showing off his sexy bare chest. He looks all sweaty and handsome, lying down on a medical bed, right? Now, I'm not a homosexual, okay? I am not a bisexual either. I'm not gay. I'm cringe, okay? I'm not gay. I'm cringe. I'm not a furry. But they had this signed photo of Jeff Goldblum, right, doing this like sexy, injured, laid-back thing, showing off his big, broad, bare chest in Jurassic Park 1. And it was about like $1,200 or something to buy this. And I was like, fuck me. That Jeff Goldblum is a handsome man. And also, I'm really tempted to buy this, actually, because it looks metal as fuck. I really did want to buy it. But I did manage to resist, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. This is my first proper meal of my American journey. So this is I don't think this is garlic shrimp. I think this is, oh shit, what's it called? It's some kind of special Louisiana style shrimp now. I can't remember what kind of shrimp it is. It's not basic bit shrimp. It's got some kind of like Louisiana spice or cooking style in it. Some kind of Louisiana style shrimp with andouille sausage. I don't know how to pronounce it. So you've got shrimp with andouille sausage or something. And then that thing underneath it is a corn and grits cake as well. And it's got some kind of, I'm not quite sure what that sauce is. That more orangey brown sauce on the sausage, that tasted like very rich and barbecuey kind of. I'm not quite sure what sauce that was. And that whitish beige sauce, that was very creamy. It's not, I don't think it was cheese. Definitely not cheese. It's some kind of creamy sauce. But this was my favorite meal of the entire journey. This is the first time I ever had grits as well. And let me tell you, I fucking love grits. It's absolutely delicious. I had no idea what grits was before I had this. Fucking love it. Absolutely amazing. Have you seen the gif of Jeff Goldblum breathing with a guy feeling his chest like a... I haven't heard from a Mexican, but that sounds... I can picture it in my head perfectly. I'll have to watch that later. That sounds hilarious. Furry denial is what a furry would say. I'm not a furry. I thought it would be a funny meme to be like a furry man. Cajun, maybe. It might be Cajun, actually. Yeah, you guys might be right. It might be Cajun. Did he have a bubblegum restaurant over there? I did, actually, Hero. That'll be a meal coming up soon. I did have a lot of bubblegum shrimp over there. I fucking love bubblegum. That was good. Shrimp and grits is good stuff for sure. It absolutely is. I'm not furry. Shut the fuck up, chat. I'm a big, strong, burly man who doesn't do cringe stuff. But I do some cringe stuff, but I'm not do furry stuff. I just think anthropomorphic cartoon animals are cool. Okay. I do like furries though. I'm not a furry, but I do like furries. And then I went to the horror movie makeup show that they have at Universal Studios. So this is really cool. This is right up my alley. I fucking love horror stuff. I grew up with horror movies. I think I watched my first horror movie when I was 3 years old. And the first horror movie I ever watched was the first Alien movie. And the first video game I ever played was Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation as well. So horror is something that I care about a great deal. So in the Universal Horror Makeup Show, it's an absolutely hilarious show as well, by the way. They have a lot of like jokes and banter and humor between like the two guys who present it. And that is always just the funniest show. I'd recommend you guys, if you ever go to Universal Studios, this is a must-see show. Not only is it very interesting and informative, hilarious show, really fucking funny. It's very witty. It's the most wittiest of like Americans I've ever seen. It's incredible. It's almost British humor. It's so witty. So here they got like a display cabinet of some of the props that they used during the Mummy movies. I don't know what these two are from. I'm not familiar. This guy on the right with the top hat, that rings a bell. I'm not sure if I've seen this movie or really know what that's from. And I don't know what this clown is from either. I don't know if that's just like a generic. Oh no, looks like it's from the same show. Does anyone know what this is? Is this some kind of like movie or TV series or something that I haven't seen? I only learned to like horror in college. I'm a very easily startled person. Yeah, it's weird for me, Felix. I'm someone who's really easily frightened as well, but I fucking love it at the same time. So like, I'll play a horror game. I'll have my eyes closed for it, screaming fucking hell, I don't like this. But I love it at the same time. It's really weird. Did you meet Dracula? I didn't meet Dracula, unfortunately. I did meet Bumblebee from Transformers, and I did meet who did I meet? They had like a show in Harry Potter Land where they did the Goblet of Fire like dances. So you had like the Bulgarian wizards doing their weird kind of fire dance on stage. And then they also had like those French girls in like the blue velvety dresses and the black stockings doing their weird French dance thing as well. I really did enjoy it when they brought out like the French dances. That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite parts of the trip, is when they brought out like the fancy French dances in the black stockings and the blue velvety dresses, and they were speaking French. I was like, oh la la. I don't know how you say female in French, but I was like, oh la la, me likey, I like this. Hell yeah. I'm gonna impregnate one of these women. Hey Cara, how's it going? I was like, yeah, I don't know a word of French. What's the French word for I'm going to put a child in you? When I saw these French women in stockings, they're all blonde as well, and I think we all know how I feel about blonde women in stockings, right? Especially black lingerie. Look, yellow and blonde and with black, it's such a fucking fantastic color combination. Anyway, I'll stop first posting now. Le baby making, omelette du fromage. This is the next meal I had. So but this is what I had before the shrimp. So before I had the shrimp, I had this calamari, which was in a marinara sauce, and I had a lemon there that I could squeeze over the calamari. I'm not a big fan of dousing lemon over seafood myself, honestly. So I ate the lemon Like I just took a big bite out of the lemon separately. I didn't actually pour it over my seafood. But yeah, this is really good. You can kind of see, like, you can see the calamari. You can see its fried little octopusy tendril things here. Fucking delicious. I love calamari. That's some good stuff. Obviously, as you can see as well, I absolutely drown my food in salt, by the way. As far as I'm concerned, food isn't properly seasoned until the taste of salt overpowers the taste of the food itself. He ate Luby. I ate Luby itself. Yeah, I cooked and ate Luby. And then as I was walking around, I took a picture of picture of Krusty Burger. I went in there and I ate the Krusty Burger as well. I've got a picture of that in a moment. I really didn't like it in the Simpsons restaurant areas. They had a Moe's Tavern there as well, where you can get shit-faced drunk. So in this building over here, they've actually got like all the restaurants from the Simpsons. So they've got a Bumblebee Man taco van that has a horn that plays stereotypical Mexican music. They've got Krusty Burger. They've got the Frying Dutchman. And they've got like other like restaurants that are featured in The Simpsons as well. And it took every ounce of my being not to take a picture of the Bumblebee Man taco van and then send that to Hero, and Lion in the chat and say, hey, look, I found your home. I found where you work. Oh, is he actually inspired from a TV character from Mexico? Yeah, actually it's actually really good foods from the Bumblebee Man taco van. Oh yeah, actually, I should have said hobo. I should have made a joke about that being hobo in Mexico as well, to be honest. Yeah, but I saw that and it was like, when you eat there, just randomly, the horn will start being like... So when I was eating in there, I was enjoying it, but at the same time, I was like, I'm amazed that this hasn't been deemed offensive and been banned, right? Because you know what the Simpsons are like these days. They got rid of the poo, so yeah, that was good fun. He's on to me. So this is more stuff from the horror show display cabinet. So they've got like the Grinch mask here, which is, oh god, it's really, the amount of work. It's like, these horror makeup artists are fucking geniuses. I don't know where they like come up with these ideas to create their props, but when you're getting like the lecture in the last 100 years of horror makeup, it's often the case that these guys, obviously everyone has to start from somewhere, but these fantastic like movie props that they're doing, it's like they're oftentimes the first time anyone's ever tried something like that. Like they've got no master before them to learn from. Literally, they just invite some eccentric weirdo with a big beard and like a hippie hairstyle and like a hippie mustache, like this guy down here. And he I don't know, it must be like the cocaine and alcohol or something, but they just come up with these weird and wonderful like practical effects for the horror makeup, which is always fascinating. I did get a Duff beer clobbering time. Unfortunately, like the themed beers and drinks in Universal are very underwhelming. So they sell butter beer, like from Harry Potter, in the Universal Studios, and it basically just tastes like just tastes like vanilla Coke. Basically, it doesn't really taste of anything special. And then I had a Duff beer, and like the Duff beer was just like the most basic bitch, you know. Like, it's probably, I've never had Coors Light, but I imagine a Duff beer was basically Coors Light put in a beer bottle, right? Just basic bitch beer. Sadly, it seems like Hollywood proper makeup expertise is going away. Maybe not, but that's my impression. It's my impression as well, Pavlo. They replace it these days with a lot of CGI, don't they? Rather than have like these risky one-shot kind of practical effects that you have to use them once, you have to get the shot perfect, otherwise you have to make it again from scratch each time. They prefer to have like an army of CGI artists spend a fortune creating these awful looking digital effects. Everyone has a style. For instance, every horror director has their own recipe for blood, and it's all top secret. And that's for blood. Yeah, exactly, Cara. Yeah, it's mental how passionate these people are about their crafts. Something about, I don't know what it is, there's just something about the American psyche that makes you guys just obsessed with horror-based stuff. I've never seen like an American get so into something unless it's guns, politics, and like just horror, right? Just trying to scare people. I remember when I went in like the first haunted house as part of the Halloween Horror Nights event, it was like the first 5 minutes of the park opening, and the scare actors inside the house were really going like fucking all in. They were like I don't know how to describe it, right? They were like ADHD people on a sugar rush and on crack cocaine and like meth and shit, right? They were getting really into it. I remember going through one gauntlet where they're supposed to like there was like one gauntlet I walked through in one of the houses where there's like 4 windows that open and someone pops out, and normally like they've got the timing, you know, in weird ways. They like scare one person in one part of the line, and then they like scare someone out, and then they'll like pop open again, like scare someone else who's like 4 or 5 people down the line. But when I passed through the first person on the gauntlet, I was like the first person in, and because this first person didn't scare me, the rest of the cast must have taken this as an insult. So like every single other fucking scare actor in this house like all fucking surrounded me, and they were getting like right in my face as well. They were putting their hands right in my fucking face, and they were all like they were all fucking dogpiling me, trying to scare me. They're getting really into it. I was like, fucking hell, calm down. They did do the chainsaws, Boa. They always do the chainsaws. Very first thing when you walk in, do the chainsaws. Bloody love it. Actually, I went on this holiday with my mum. I always go on holiday with my mum. This is like our little our little mother-son get together each year, and she's a huge pussy, bless her. So her winning strategy is to like hide behind me and like hold my hand as I kind of pull her along. Or she'll look straight down. She'll look straight down at the floor while she's walking ahead. And instead of that signaling to them for them to leave her alone, right? They take that as a challenge. So they always fuck with her and ignore me because they say, "Oh, this person's terrified. Let's go fuck with her." And I tell her that all the time. The trick is, if you want them to leave you alone, you have to act confident and brave, and then they get bored and like kind of almost offended, and then they'll go bother someone else. When you like act all scared and timid, they eat that shit up. They go straight for you, and they always do. Good for you taking care of mum. Yeah, I love her mum. My poor mum's disabled. So yeah, I have to I take care of her and look after her a lot. So yeah, I'm regularly in contact with my mum. Like this America holiday is like one of the last things that she can enjoy, bless her. The chainsaw dudes legit scared me because all you need is one skit say to bring a chain to the park and to get. Oh my god, I know that's true. I didn't know that at first, you know, Cara. For the longest time, I didn't realize that they were real chainsaws. They just didn't have obviously the chains in them. But that's crazy to think that yeah, one psychopath could put the chain in it and then boom, there you go, start murdering people, right? But this is the thing, by the way. Speaking about like schizo murders in the United States, guys, Americans. What the fuck? Can you Americans please explain to me what the fuck is it with people who shop at Walmart? I mean, seriously, the people on Walmart, they're literally NPCs in a Bethesda game. Every time I go shopping at a Walmart, I think I could probably stab 80% of each Walmart to death. Right? I could go around stabbing people in a Walmart, kill 80% of people in the Walmart. And people would have no idea what was going on. They're so completely unaware of what's going on around them, right? It's like I could probably kill 90% of a Walmart before anyone noticed that people in the store are being killed. It's just, the Walmart is really fucking bizarre. There's like, the Walmart creatures shop in Walmart, not actual people, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know Walmart customers are a special breed in and of themselves. It's called an active PvP zone for a reason. Hey Traub, how you doing, buddy? I love that meme so much. Walmart is very much an... Actually, no, Walmart isn't an active PvP zone. Walmart is a PvP enabled zone. A Waffle House is an active PvP zone. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any Waffle Houses around Orlando in which I could visit at 2 in the morning and like get into fucking fights with people. But one thing I want to do actually, before I die, it's on my bucket list. I do want to go to a Waffle House at 2 o'clock in the morning and like fucking fight the staff behind the counter. And I want to fight the people who are fighting the staff behind the counter as well. Like I want to come in there like fucking stone cold, right? I want to come into a Waffle House at 2 in the morning like British stone cold and just fucking steel chair the staff. And see what happens, right? Take the heavyweight belt. Oh dear, the heavyweight Waffle House belt. Waffle House is a sacred place. You want a parking lot fight? I guess if I want a parking lot fight, I think Denny's, right? Isn't it Denny's is where you go for a good parking lot fight, right? You go around the back of a Denny's for a fight. I'll track you to a waffle. Yeah, actually, yeah. Next time I go to the US, Pascal Saucer, maybe I'll see if I can catch up with you and Nova Crusader or something. We can have a good old time. There are tons of Waffle Houses in Alabama and North Carolina. Well, I am planning to go to North Carolina and Alabama at some point. So yeah, I'll live stream myself getting into fights at Waffle House at 2 in the morning. Watch retarded lisping Englishmen fight people at Waffle House at 2 in the morning. And then the follow-up stream will be watch lisping English retard get deported from the United States for fighting at Waffle House at 2 in the morning. Another reason to go to Texas, we have HEB to go to instead of Walmart. I've never heard of HEB before. What is that, Lemons? What do you find the one good Waffle House in the States? That is my luck, honestly. That would be my luck. I'm always good at arriving at precisely the right time in the right place. Or Popeyes. You see some good parking lots. Really? I thought Popeyes was supposed to be like a rich and kind of more upmarket fast food joint. I'm surprised that Popeyes customers are getting into fights, right? I mean, I would expect that kind of behavior from someone in Burger King, to be honest. All up and down the I-95. Hell yeah. We could make it a collab. Yeah, we can make it a collab stream. That'd be fun. Engaging in a great American pastime. Look, man. In the south of the United States, you aren't considered a real man until you've killed someone in a Waffle House, right? At 2 in the morning with your bare hands. Based with Watch Live if I lived in the US. Wait, isn't Big Daddy Humperdinck English Stone Cold? Is that a real wrestler, Clobbering Time? I've never heard of that person before. Burger King is a normie place. Popeye is hyper ghetto. That's true. I do quite like American Burger King, honestly. But Felix, you have to remember, even though American burgers are 50% sawdust, they're still a million times better than British quote-unquote food. So Burger King in the United Kingdom is gross. I don't like it. But Burger King in the United States is like fucking gourmet foods that we can't get here anywhere, even in a proper restaurant in the UK, because food here is absolutely god awful. In Helene, the Waffle House was the only thing open. That's hilarious, but that's also quite tragic that a fucking Waffle House franchisee owner would force his employees to open up a Waffle House at fucking... Can you imagine that? Guys, I've just thought of the best idea for a movie. You remember that movie Sharknado, right? I don't know the name for it yet. We're gonna have to work on the name. But instead of Sharknado, we'll have a movie about people fighting in a Waffle House in a tornado. But at 2 in the morning. People fighting in a Waffle House at 2 in the morning, right? That would be an amazing movie. HEB is a really good supermarket acronym. Here, everything's better. Wow, I normally hear all about like the fancy, American culture and meme stuff. I've never heard that. I've never heard HEB mentioned before. I'm gonna have to do some research later. Check that shit out. I've always wanted to go to a late hours chippy shop in the UK. I don't know why. I just have the urge. Yeah, I guess you can experience that pavely. I'm telling you right now. 99% of chip shops in the UK are just run by Chinese immigrants. So, every time you go to a chippy shop in the UK, it's all the same thing. No matter where you go to the shop, and they're like, "What you want for dinner? You want fried rice?" Same thing everywhere, unfortunately, no matter which one you go to. And then the 1% that aren't run by Chinese people are run by Indian people. So instead of "you want fried rice," you get people who are like, Sir, do you want curry sauce, sir? Right. We have a thing called the Waffle House Index. Oh, you have a Waffle House Index is used by FEMA. Interesting. Rating the severity of a natural disaster by how many Waffle Houses are open. Oh, that's fucking tragic. But then we have something like that in the UK, Felix. In the UK, we have an economic index called the Freddo Index. So in the UK, we have this little chocolate frog that looks just like Pepe the Frog called Freddo. And it used to be like a really fucking, the cheapest chocolate bar. I think it still is the cheapest chocolate bar you can buy in the UK. And it's about like a 10 centimeter long piece of chocolate shaped like a frog, right? And we use the Fredo index to determine how good the economy is and like how inflation is, right? So it's like if Fredo is like 90 pence, then that means, oh shit, the economy is deep in the red, boys. You know, it's 90 pence a Fredo. Fuck me, we need to fix the economy right fucking now. That's how the British economy works. It's determined by a chocolate frog. Waffle House Index, most accurate method. Oh, Heb is a regional thing, mostly in Texas. Okay. The thing is, I would like to move to Texas as well, but again, I'm scared about all the Democrats moving to Texas and all the Californians. I'm worried that California is going to turn Texas into California 2.0, which I don't want to obviously live in. Where would be a good place to live in Texas if I was to move there? Obviously, I'd probably want to avoid places like Austin and Victoria, right? Where would be a good place to live in Texas? Yeah, not Austin. I don't know. Is Victoria a good place? I don't like cities, honestly. I'm a countryside boy. I live deep in like the place I live here in the UK, and the place where I grew up in is basically looks like Hobbiton in Lord of the Rings, and I don't really want to live anywhere that doesn't look like Hobbiton from Lord of the Rings. I quite like countryside living. I do like curry, Indian, Thai, all of them. I do too. I love a good Indian and Thai. I love Japanese as well, actually. Quite a big fan of Japanese food. Very picky with Japanese food though. They do good chicken.
That's good.
Frog inflation. Not Austin. El Paso is kind of run down. Yeah, I think, doesn't El Paso have problems with cartel violence as well? Or is that just in Breaking Bad? Yes, I heard about San Antonio as well. All the gun tubers live in San Antonio. Yeah. The thing is, again, though, so I'd like to live somewhere near water. I'd like to live in a house that's like by a lake or something. But I mean, I think everyone wants to live in a house by the lake, right? And houses by lakes are unaffordable. I was looking at like salaries for electrical engineers and like automation engineers in the United States. So I worked this out. So for some of my years of experience, right? Like an electrical engineer in the United States makes around about $180,000 on average, apparently. So yeah, I hear like houses are cheap, I think, in the US. Houses aren't cheap in the United States. I know you're going to cuss me out for that, but it's like relative to the UK, how like houses are cheap in the United States, but you've got really expensive house insurance though on top of that, whereas house insurance is really cheap in the UK. I think like house insurance in the UK is about like be as little as like £300, £500 at maximum, whereas in the US it's like several thousand or something, isn't it? Really depends on where you move to. Yeah, are there many lake beds in Texas, or is Texas just a really dry country? I know it's really hot in Texas. I don't know if there's many lakes there. San Antonio is in the middle of the state with some great country on the outskirts. Fredericksburg has an awesome museum and beach farms. How many fucking states in the United States have a goddamn Fredericksburg in them? Doesn't North Carolina have a Fredericksburg in them as well? Doesn't Florida have a Fredericksburg? Oh, you want woods? Try Indiana. I do. My ideal place to live is by a lake or like by the woods somewhere. That's kind of like my ideal environment. So ideally a place that has woods and a lake would be perfect, but I imagine a house such as that would go for millions. Hey, missionary, how are you? Unfortunately, missionary, I couldn't go to Gatorland. It was closed, sadly, because of the hurricane. But instead of going to Gatorland, I did eat gator. I went to I actually managed to find a barbecue pit boys pit, and they were very good sports, and they actually let me try some of the gator that they had prepared. So that was bloody fucking... It's a very weird taste and texture to it, gator, but it was really good though. It was very delicious. I fucking love the barbecue pit boys, by the way. I've been subscribed to those guys. I've been a member of the pit boys for like 14 years now. I fucking love that channel so much. The barbecue pit boys is basically what I want to be when I'm 60. I just want to be like a fat old man wearing a Stetson hat with a big beard and sunglasses, my skin all wrinkled and brown and like just leathery from being in the sun for too long, and I just want to like put fucking food, I just want to put meat on the grill and drown it in like 5,000 calorie barbecue sauce and shit, right? That's the dream for me. And like drink cheap beer. Well, I don't want to drink cheap beer. I don't actually like alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I don't like alcohol. I only drink it if if it would be kind of awkward to not do so in a social setting, or if I'm curious as to like what this alcohol is about. So I'll try an alcohol at least once, but afterwards I won't drink it again. Yeah, really. I'll try an alcohol once, and then I really clearly won't like it, so I never do, and then I'll never try it again. Yeah, new North Carolina weather is like Florida light. The problem is the land isn't ready for that level of water. Oh, Western North Carolina has woods and water, and now hurricanes apparently. Yeah, I didn't realize that North Carolina had hurricanes. Is that a new thing? I think one serious problem that Florida and North Carolina are having is like a lot of their land, their natural lands that would, you know, block the water from getting to civilized areas is being developed over. I can't remember the name now of the type of, like, you know, grass and foliage that blocks, you know, like hurricane waters and like the sea from coming in too close to the land, but they're developing over it these days, these greedy developers. And obviously stupid New Yorkers are buying them, not realizing that they're going into a hurricane state with hurricanes that frequent that part of the coast as well. They get their homes and their properties get destroyed. They sell it for like a tenth of what they paid for it. The developers rebuild it for a fraction of the cost, and then the next sucker New Yorker comes in and buys that house again, and then in the next hurricane season, whoop, lose that house as well. And then the New Yorker obviously leaves the state of Florida, cursing it as a shit state. That's actually something I noticed when I went to Florida and I was like staying in Orlando. There were a shitload of New Yorkers there who absolutely hated it there, complaining it's like far too hot and like complaining about the hurricane and shit. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm a British person and even I know Florida is really fucking hot and has hurricanes. What were you expecting? Retards. Honestly, these idiots. Anyway, let's move on to the next slide. Got quite a lot of slides. How long have I been streaming for? Oh, fucking hell. I need to stop yapping so much. This is supposed to be an hour-long stream. I'm feeling like shit. And what? I'm already streaming. I've already been streaming for an hour and 50 minutes. I've not even done like a quarter of my fucking slides. God damn. Flooding was in the river flooding zones mainly, but it did remove several towns in the process. Yeah. My heart goes out to the people of like Tampa and Saratoga. They got hit pretty hard. I saw. I actually wanted to move to like St. Petersburg at one point. After Hurricane Milton, I'm not sure I'll be moving to St. Petersburg anymore, Florida. And yeah, we've got some more cool little effects here from the horror makeup show. We've got the Thing crab that comes from Fuchs. No, not Fuchs. What's that guy? Doc Palmer, I think it is. I think it's Palmer's. I think it comes off of Palmer's head. Can't remember that character's name now, which is embarrassing considering The Thing is my favorite movie of all time, and I watch it every single Christmas because it's my favorite Christmas movie as well. John Carpenter's The Thing is a Christmas movie, and you can't convince me otherwise. Just like Die Hard. Die Hard is also a Christmas movie. What's this movie here, by the way, guys? This one here with like the Satan mask with the big horns. Is that a movie from something? What movie is that from? And then we've got the Obey mask as well. Great movie that is. That's got Keith David in it, who was in The Thing as well. Good movie. Rick Baker, bloody genius, legends. Wishmaster. Ah, thank you, Coning. Wishmaster. I need to watch this movie. I haven't seen it actually. Legend is Rick Baker, absolute legend, absolute mad lads. Yeah, the horror show dedicated about 10 minutes to explaining the history of Rick Baker. I fucking love that man. In another life, I would be a Rick Baker style person. I'd love to have the freedom to like design all sorts of weird and wonderful practical horror effects to scare audiences. Sounds like the dream job to me, honestly. And then here we've got more stuff from The Mummy. Here on the right, we've got the Book of the Dead. I think the Gold Book is the Book of the Dead from the Mummy movies. And then we've got like a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. I'm not sure what this thing here is on the left. This rings a bell. What's this movie from here where you've got... Oh, hang on, you can't fucking see it because I'm in the way. Hang on. Let me move myself over here a little bit. Right out the way now. Is that from Jaws? Is it? Not the boat. Hang on. I need to wait. There we go. Yeah, you can see it now. This guy here with this shit coming out of his eye. Shit coming out of his eye socket. Is that from Jaws? Or are you talking about the boat here on the top right? Don't know what that's from. That is from Jaws. Really? When the fuck does this happen? Huh. Weird. I don't remember that happening in Jaws. Which movie did it happen in? It happened in the boat. God, I'm gonna have to rewatch. To be fair, I haven't seen the Jaws movie in about 20 years. I'm definitely gonna have to re-jog my memory with that one then. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, and here we go. I got a picture here of Jimmy Fallon. I hate this cunt so much. I don't understand why I hate this guy so much. This guy genuinely makes me violently angry. I hate this motherfucker. I hate this cunt. I watched him on late night TV for the first time whilst I was in Florida. And there's just something about him. When I was like watching him deliver his jokes, he was completely dead behind the eyes. Like, you can even see it in this picture. There's no light. This man has no soul. This man is lacking a soul. And it's just something about that. I get on guard, I get hostile, I get defensive when I see this dickhead. I don't like him. He's a James Corden of the US, only skinnier. That is a perfect description of him, Pavlo. That is exactly what he is. I fucking hate that cunt James Corden as well. Yeah, Legal Mindset told me that actually, Felix. I don't know Jimmy Fallon's career at Saturday Night Live, but Legal Mindset told me that he used to be very funny, and then when he moved over to late night television, he's become this evil spawn of Comcast. By the way, whilst we're talking about Jimmy Fallon and the late night show, Comcast hate. Fuck Comcast. Even I fucking hate Comcast. Evil dickheads Comcast are. Hang on, let me move myself over here a little bit more. Working late night TV drains itself. I can imagine. I don't envy his job, but then at the same time, he doesn't like. It's not like he writes his own shit, right? He has write all his shit for him. He just reads it out whilst his soul gets consumed by something. Boo, Comcast, hell yeah. A lot of these late night people got with the times. Yeah, that's something I find really weird as well. There's this other guy. I'm going to give you the vaguest ever description of this other late night TV host, but maybe you'll know. It's a guy who's got dark hair and he wears glasses and he does a lot of political talking and comedy. He's like always having a go at Republicans and shit. Who's that guy? He's got dark hair, he wears the glasses, and he always makes fucking awful politics jokes. He doesn't shut the fuck up about Donald Trump. Who's that guy? Who's that late night show host guy? Who's he? You know who I'm talking about? Is it Oliver? Stephen Colbert? Shit, actually, hang on, let me have a look. No, not Jamie Oliver. Hang on, let me Google it. Stephen Colbert, that's it. Stephen Colbert. I hate Stephen Colbert even worse than I hate Jimmy Fallon. Stephen Colbert, that fucker isn't... That guy is a charisma vacuum. That guy... I want to punch Stephen Colbert. Can I say that? Can I say that on stream? Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I want to punch that. I want to give Stephen Colbert a swirly. He's a rat fuck dickhead, Stephen Colbert. I hate that fucker. He needs to be removed from the television immediately. I think what annoys me most about these late night TV shows isn't really the hosts themselves. It's the fucking stupid audience who are laughing at the end of every sentence, going, "That's funny. Yeah, you said the thing. Funny." Really gets on my nerves. It's like, shut up. They're not funny. Anyway, Jimmy Fallon hates. Oh yeah, there's just another angle of the Jurassic Park Velociraptor. And then yeah, this is my Krusty Burger. So if I was to give you my review of the Simpsons themed restaurants, it's like cafeteria food, but even worse. So it's like the food. I wouldn't call it food. I wouldn't exactly call it appetizing. But you know what? When it's pissing it down with rain and you're exhausted from doing 40,000 steps, you know, it's meat. I say it's meat. It's meat adjacent, and it's drowning in like 4 kinds of artificial cheese, right? And that's good enough. That's good enough at the end of the day. I could definitely eat it, okay? But yeah, it was like cafeteria food. The people behind the counter didn't give a shit, right? They didn't give a shit. And it'd all been prepared probably several hours ago, and they just kept it under like, you know, the lights to keep it warm basically, so it wasn't very good. Does anyone even watch late night talk show hosts? I've never met anyone that does. I've never watched anyone that does either. But they must have an audience because obviously they're still going. It's probably like all the boomers. It's probably just like night care and day. It's probably just like night care for the boomers before they go to bed, right? You've got millions of people in old folks' homes. They've got nothing else to do in the evening, so they just put Jimmy Fallon on as like background noise as their brains like are slowly destroyed by Alzheimer's or something, right? God, that's horrible. But that's probably the case. Big difference between food in the park and outside the park, yeah. Strangely, I've never actually been to a Krusty Burger place. I've come all this way to pay for an overpriced burger. Nope, over here instead. Yeah, this burger was $18. It was I think it was a half pound of meat. This was a half pound of meat, and the fries, by the way, you can't really tell because of the the way they're kind of bundled in there. But the fries are shaped like are shaped like springs as well. The spring-shaped fries, kind of like anime drill hair, is how the chips are. Is how the chips are kind of styled. Wasn't a particularly big fan of the fries, but I'll tell you what, I did go to a Chick-fil-A whilst I was in the curly fries, that's it. Yeah, I did go to a Chick-fil-A whilst I was in the United States. It's my first time going to Chick-fil-A, and those waffle fries that they have are fucking magnificent. I'm absolutely addicted to the waffle fries. They're so fucking good. I don't know what god thought of that design for fries, but it really works as well. And they have just the right amount of salt in them too, and they're piping hot. One of the problems we have in the UK is that even if you actually shop at the restaurant directly, when you ask for fries, they come to you cold and in that semi, gross potatoey soggy state. So I go to a Chick-fil-A, and just like a good Christian organization, all the people behind the counter in Chick-fil-A, they're all Mexican slave labor. They're all good Catholic Mexicans who are probably there under threat of having their green cards revoked. The proper Christian way of running a business. But yeah, it was very nice. I really like Chick-fil-A. I had most likely had a Mexican chef. Mexicans do know how to make a good Chick-fil-A. I had the recommendation on Twitter. I had the spicy deluxe chicken burger thing. That was very good. It was actually quite spicy, which I was surprised about. Normally, when I go to most American places and they say this food is spicy, it really isn't spicy at all. But that spicy chicken deluxe burger, that was very good actually. I quite like that. And then I had their chicken nuggets as well. I had 8 pieces of chicken nuggets, and I was surprised. They don't do deep fried chicken nuggets. They just give you like grilled. I think they're grilled chicken nuggets. That was a nice change. And those were the best chicken nuggets I've ever had. They actually had flavor, and they looked like they were actual pieces of chicken, unlike the McDonald's chicken nuggets, right? This is something I find really weird, right, about chicken nugget lovers, especially Pippa. I find it so weird about chicken nugget lovers and people like Pippa, is that they talk about how, and Kirscher as well, to be fair, Kirscher does the same thing, is they talk about how much they love chicken nuggets, but they don't actually like chicken nuggets. They just like the sauces that come with the chicken nuggets, right? Because the chicken nuggets themselves don't fucking taste anything. It's like it's a vaguely salty, greasy taste that you just drown in Chipotle or like sweet barbecue or something, and they go, yeah, I really like chicken nuggets. And it's like, no, you don't. You just like the sauce. What are you talking about? But those Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets were actually good nuggets. Take care, Dark Knight. Sorry to hear about your headache, buddy. Have a good evening. Thank you.
That's good.
The only hosted show I watch is Sven Gooley, and he's a horror movie host. I've not heard of that. I'll have to check that out, actually. Clobbering time. A horror movie host, actually. Sounds quite up my alley. You can get either grilled or fried. Oh, okay. They do both? Oh, they do both. Okay. A lot of us Americans grow up on chicken nuggets, me included. I mean, we all grow up on chicken nuggets. It's just that chicken nuggets, growing up is realizing that chicken nuggets aren't food. Blasphemy. Chicken nuggets are just vehicles for the sauces. Yes, Pablo, chicken strips are usually better. There's only 2 advertising campaigns that have ever worked on me in my entire life. The first advertising campaign that ever worked on me was when KFC introduced chicken strips for the first time back in 1997, and little 4-year-old me had to have chicken strips from KFC because they looked delicious. That's the first time it ever worked on me. The second time an advertising campaign ever actually worked on me was when Dead Space was coming out back in 2008. I fucking ate the Dead Space like pre-release PR and, you know, what do you call it, like advertising shit up. They had that cool little website where you could explore like a room in the Ishimura, and there was like ambient noises, and you could hear the necromorphs in the walls and shit. And as each day went by, there were like more and more clues in this little room that you could click on and try to understand more the mystery of Dead Space. And they had like that amazing voice comic thing as well during the Dead Space pre-release. Fucking, I loved all that shit, man. EA have gone downhill so much. I think the original Dead Space, like pre-release advertisement campaign, is perhaps the greatest advertising campaign I've ever seen for anything ever. I wish we could go back to those days when like developers and publishers are so incredibly proud and confident in their product. They're happy to spend all this time and money producing like fucking like web novels and voice acted like comics and like fucking browser games and shit to hype their game up. That was good shit. It is true, the chicken nuggets are just a transportation device for the sauce. Yeah. You don't get Burger King chicken nuggets, they're awful. You get the chicken fries. Yeah, you know, I did try it when Burger King released their chicken nuggets trial. I was interested. I was very interested to see how their take on it. And then one thing that put me off of them is that in the first instance, the Burger King chicken nuggets are really fucking expensive for some reason. They're 6 Burger King chicken nuggets cost the same as like 20 McDonald's ones, and they're basically just the same thing anyway. So yeah, the Burger King chicken nuggets is shit. TFA nuggets are bits of meat, nuggies are processed to death and are just sauce chips. Yeah, I mean, these chicken nuggets were pretty good, but then they had like a very rubbery texture and feel to them, so they probably are like, you know, processed shit still. But I could believe it was real chicken. McDonald's of all people have decent chicken strips. Go figure. Have I ever had McDonald's chicken strips? I don't even know if we've got McDonald's chicken strips in the UK. I don't think we do. I don't think we got chicken strips in the UK. McDonald's. That's one thing that's one thing I forgot to do actually. I forgot to go to Taco Bell and try the Baja Blast. We don't have Baja Blast in the UK, so that's something I really want to try. See if I like it. Do you know that all chicken nuggets are dino nuggies? They're just evolved into chickens. That's technically true, Kara. Technically well said, yeah. It's crazy to imagine that a pigeon at one point was like the equivalent of a T-Rex. Like Battletech. What's the reference to Battletech? I fucking love Battletech though. Yeah, hell yeah, we got Battletech loving boys. Mech Warrior Clans just released. I saw that. I was surprised that they've released clans for Mech Warrior 5. I might actually buy the game now. I think Mech Warrior 5, honestly, is still a bit too expensive, I think, for what it is. I might buy Mech Warrior 5 when it's on a discount. I don't know. I see a lot of people say Mech Warrior 5 was kind of like disappointing, and it was like a very bare bones game. Some people seem to really like it. I don't know. It's Mech Warrior 5 multiplayer. Can you play it with other people? Baja Blasters, Mountain Dew, and sports drinks, I'm told. Oh, I did try a Gatorade for the first time, actually. I tried the blue Gatorade, and that was just like generic, sweet-tasting, weird water drink. Wasn't impressed with Gatorade. Oh, okay, it is multiplayer. Okay, I might buy Mech Warrior 5 then. Yeah, maybe we could collab and do a Mech Warrior 5 collab together at some point then, Kara. That might be a good idea. I heard McDonald's UK had better chicken because it has less processed chemicals in it. Yeah, that probably is the case, Felix. Even though British food tastes worse than American food by far, the quality of British food in terms of like the actual ingredients being used is probably much higher across the board. But the problem is, even though the British people, quote unquote, use much nicer ingredients than Americans, our food still tastes like trash for some reason. Battletech is in the whole story promo thing like this. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean, Burr. Yeah, absolutely, that's right. I think guys, you need to make me a multi-millionaire so I can buy the Battletech franchise. And then once I've bought the Battletech franchise, I'm gonna make like the greatest Battletech games and movies and TV shows you've ever seen. Right? It's like I'd love to write for Battletech related shit. I think I could write a really good Battletech like TV series that would be shown on like shown on Game of Thrones, shown on HBO. Right? I reckon I could write a Battletech show that would dumpster Game of Thrones and HBO's Rome. I want to do it. Gatorade is for getting electrolytes. Never drank it for the taste, to be honest. Yeah, I got it just out of pure curiosity. I like trying new things, trying new foods and drinks. Baja Blast is a special flavour of Mountain Dew, not a sports drink. Oh, is Mountain Dew not a sports drink? I don't think I've ever had Mountain Dew before. Actually, no, I have had Mountain Dew once before, many years ago. It tasted just like piss, basically. I think every time I think about Mountain Dew, I always think of that South Park episode where it's like, you've got Mountain Dew and you've got double Mountain Dew and then you've got diet Mountain Dew, which has half the calories of regular, no, like half the energy or like half the calories. No, it has like half the calories of regular Mountain Dew. And now we've released Diet Double Dew. Diet Double Dew, which now has the calories of one Mountain Dew. Battle Technology was the anime with transforming fighter jets, right? That's Transformers. I don't know of an anime called... I don't know of an anime called Battle Technology. There might be one. Oh, Macross. Macross. Yeah, Macross, of course. Macross. Why didn't I think of Macross? Macross is one of those weird animes that really... I watched Macross when I was a kid, and that's one of the most influential animes to me. But I don't know. I keep losing it in my head. I keep forgetting it exists. This model, this very model you're looking at, is actually some way inspired by Macross, as well as Gundam. So yeah, I do quite like Macross. And then this is from Bubba Gump Shrimp. So this here is quote unquote Southern style barbecue ribs with shrimp and fries. I can't remember what exactly it's called on the menu. It's called something like Lieutenant Dan's ribs or Lieutenant Dan's seafood, something or other. I can't quite remember what it's called. But this is probably my second favorite meal whilst I was in the United States. I do love, Americans are really passionate about their barbecue ribs. We have barbecue ribs in the UK. They're really shit, but American ribs, delicious. And the barbecue sauce was incredibly thick and incredibly rich. So this barbecue sauce was so incredibly rich, I couldn't actually finish these ribs because I just couldn't. the sauce finished me off before I actually stopped being hungry. I was in this weird state where I was I can't have another mouthful of this incredibly sugary, sweet, smoky barbecue sauce on this meat. It's gonna make me throw up. Hey, Baxter, how's it going, buddy? Didn't finish the ribs. Green card revoked. I mean, to be fair to me, I did have 6 glasses of Coke whilst I was eating this because it was a really hot day. And the poor woman, the poor lady who was my waitress, right? She when she came into work that day, she didn't know that she was meeting the Lord Maulington, the human Coke dispensing machine. And every time she came to check up on us, every time she came to check up in on us, I drank in my entire glass of Coke. Right, so she'd come in, she'd go, "What do you guys want?" Right? So the way it worked is she'd sit us down and she'd say, "Here's the menus. I'll let you guys, what do you guys want to drink?" And then I'll bring you drinks, and then I'll give you some more time to look at the menu, and then I'll come back. So she sat us down, took our drink orders, gave us our drinks, then gave us the menus. And then by the time, 2 minutes later, we'd done with the menus. She'd come back, I drank my Coke, and then she went off, got me another Coke, came back, and then as she was walking by my table, another 2 minutes later, she noticed that I drank my Coke again, got me a refill. I said, "Thanks." She took my glass, came back with another one. Then as she was going to serve another table, she noticed I drank my Coke again, as she'd gone to serve another table. So she grabbed my empty glass again, went back into the kitchen, and then when she came back to our table with the meals, so I drank my Coke again. And she after she just dropped her food off, she went back into the kitchen to get me another Coke. And then whilst she went off to grab me another glass of Coke, I drank in the glass of water that she'd given me in the first instance whilst waiting for my glass of Coke. So then she took my glass of water, and then she refilled my glass of water after she just refilled my glass of Coke. That was funny. I was done after 6 glasses of Coke. Oh, I don't know why. I was just really fucking thirsty for some reason that day. But yeah, barbecue ribs. Bloody love it. Bloody love barbecue ribs. Good shit. And then on the next day, that's way too much sugar. Yeah, I'm still suffering the side effects from drinking all that soda whilst in the United States. I can't sleep at the moment. I'm genuinely suffering from a really bad case of acid reflux that's been going on for over 2 weeks now because I drank way too much Coke in the United States. My stomach still isn't like, I have to take antacids every single night and I still can't sleep because I've had just way too much acidic drinks. But yeah, anyway, to get away from American food, did you drink these Cokes in one gulp? Well, basically, I had a straw, right? So I had a straw, and every time I put my lips to the straw, it was basically... right? Just constant sucking until it was empty once I started. Coke on a hot day in Florida will put you right out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much. So I had pad thai as well. This is pretty good. I went to a restaurant in Islands of Adventure called Calypso, and they had all sorts of weird and wonderful shit from all over the world. It had like lobster rolls as well. Now, I normally love lobster, but my problem with lobster rolls is that they tend to pack with like way too much like cheese and cream and other shit into the lobster rolls. So I went with a nice pad thai, and this is very good. It's nice and creamy. And obviously, yeah, you can see you got shrimp and other shit in there. It's pretty good. And then whilst I was going around the gift shops, I saw this fine gentleman. They had this kind of explorer themed get up here. And I don't think this was for sale, but I saw this and I thought, new outfit incoming. Look at this. You've got a guy with a piff helmet, and he's got the piff helmet with the goggles. Got some nice boots. And he's got like a little explorer's outfit, a photographer's sort of get up. And yeah, I thought I had to take a picture of this because I thought, hey, this would be a good design for a new model. And I just thought I'd genuinely like to wear this in real life as well. Dr. Livingston, I presume. Yeah, exactly. And then actually before I had my barbecue ribs in Barbacump, I tried macaroni and cheese for the first time. It's my understanding that macaroni and cheese is a staple food in the United States. We don't really have it here in the UK. In the UK, we have what's called macaroni pudding rather than macaroni and cheese. So what macaroni and pudding is, if you don't know, is it's a dessert instead of like, I guess kind of like a starter or a meal like mac and cheese is in the United States. So what you do for macaroni pudding is you get a bowl. You fill the bowl up with you fill like a bowl, fill about 3/4 of it up with milk, and then you put about a stick of butter in there, and then you pour the macaroni, pieces in there as much as you want, and then you put about 6 to 8 tablespoons of sugar in it, and then what you do is you put it in the oven for 2 hours, and then you take it out. And then you've got your macaroni pudding, right? And it's basically macaroni. It's basically, like macaroni pasta stuff that's just drowning in butter, sugar, and milk. So when it's been cooking in the oven for 2 hours, the milk, the butter, and the sugar kind of all melts together to form a really thick, creamy, sugary sauce. So we use macaroni more for desserts in the UK rather than for like starters and proper meals like this. So this is my first time I had macaroni and cheese, and in the macaroni and cheese was shrimp as well, catch of the day shrimp. So that was really nice. I really liked mac and cheese. That was really good. So mac and cheese works in a more savoury sort of dish. It really did work extremely well with the shrimp. I thought I tried a bit of the macaroni and cheese, and I wasn't particularly impressed with that. But just adding the shrimp to it really elevated it to a new level. The sort of the juicy meatiness combined with the savoury cheese and the more flat taste of the pasta. Brilliant combination. Bloody loved it. It's really good. It's like mac and cheese. That's supposed to be like a food for kids in the United States, or can like anyone eat it? I heard a lot of people say like macaroni and cheese is what you give kids really, rather than adults. I don't know if that's a thing or someone's making shit up. The British Empire really did have the best clothes and costumes, especially in the late 1800s, so dapper. Absolutely agree, Pavlo. The pith helmet with goggles alone, that's just peak aesthetic, in my opinion. I'm surprised I didn't actually ask for that in my model. Should have asked Whimsy for a helmet, a pith helmet toggle with goggles. I'll ask her for an upgrade at some point, get myself a pith helmet with goggles to add to the model. It works well with any kind of meat, frankly. Oh, that makes sense. I guess I imagine it would work with anything. I did like it with shrimp. Mac and cheese can be very good if done well. So does the UK know how pasta works? Unfortunately, clobbering time. British people don't really... We aren't really a dinner people in the United Kingdom, clobbering time. We're more of like a snacking people. We prefer snacks and the lighter meals. Like, we like cakes and biscuits. And like hand food that you can carry around, really, rather than big established dinners in the UK. So if you guys don't know, I said before on stream, right, but if you don't know, I'm half Italian, and I was taught how to cook by my grandfather, who is an Italian national. He's from Napoli. He's from Napoli, and he taught me how to cook food the proper Southern Italian way, right? So like carbonara, that's done with pancetta. That's the fatty kind of pancetta. There's no, like, you don't put any salt in it, and obviously you drown it in pepper. Drown it in pepper because that's where it gets the name carbonara from. It's supposed to drown it in pepper because carbonara, black, right? And from my experiences, as someone who knows how to cook pasta and spaghetti based foods the proper way, and then trying like what other British people make, it's like, yeah, they don't have a fucking clue how to make like proper pasta and spaghetti based dishes. It's gross. They do they put weird gross shit on it, and they use the wrong kinds of sauces as well, and they don't season it. The British people, for some reason, seem to have a pathological aversion to salt and pepper. I don't know what it is, right? But British people just do not fucking want to put salt and pepper in anything, and it drives me up the fucking wall. And they go, oh, I don't really like salt, I don't really like pepper. And I'm like, but it doesn't fucking taste of anything though. Like, this food that you've prepared, it tastes of nothing. But that's what British people are happy with. They're happy to just shove any old slop down their throat, as long as it fills them up. And the only time they're actually interested in flavour, if it's like cakes or biscuits or something. Weird how that works. Mac goes really well with spicy chicken. Oh, I might have to try that sometime. Children's mac and cheese is the box kind. Ah, okay. I've never heard of pasta for dessert. Yeah, it does work really well, Felix. Actually, as I said before, eventually I'm going to do some pre-recorded videos and some live streams of me cooking food. So I'll show you guys how to make macaroni pudding. I guarantee you'll really like it if you have a sweet tooth. You'll really like macaroni pudding. It's really delicious. I do recommend it. The white pith helmet is very handsome, kind of like Hobbit's, huh? Second breakfast, that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yes, but what about second breakfast? You've already had it. Mac and cheese is kind of a stereotypically kids' food, but it's kind of for everyone too. Yeah, that's one thing I find quite funny about America, right? Is that in the United States, what we would consider adult food in the UK is like the child's menu in the United States. And then like what's in the adult menu for the United States is what we would consider the fat fuck, like the buffet, like kind of option in the United Kingdom, right? So it's like in the United States, they don't ask you, do you want fries with your meal? You get fries with your meal. Instead, they ask you, do you want an apple pie or chocolate cake with your meal? Whereas in the UK, right, they're like, do you want fries with that? And it's like, no, I'll just have the burger, thanks. Whereas in the United States, it's like, no, a kid's burger is a quarter pounder in the United States. An adult eats half a pound of beef. Whereas in the UK, like, you have an adult burger isn't even a quarter pounder. It's just like a small burger. All right, and it's like a fat fuck burger. It's a quarter pounder. Cheeseburger macaroni with ground beef mixed in. Hey, that might work. Actually, I might try that myself. That sounds easy and quick meal to prepare. Burgers are stereotypical American food, but the most American fish I know is fried chicken with cream spinach. Ugh, I hate spinach. If it's green, I don't like it. Well, unless it's lime. I like lime. Otherwise, ugh, I hate greens. I'm a very fussy baby when it comes to eating fruit and vegetables. Speaking of that, by the way, you know, Kaneko Lumi's an American, and she doesn't like burgers, which is something about her that genuinely upsets me. Like, how the fuck I mean, in the first instance, who the fuck doesn't like burgers? Even vegans like burgers. They eat vegan burgers. And how can you be an American and not like burgers? Like, doesn't not liking burgers in the United States basically make you a communist or like a traitor or something, right? I think even Democrats like burgers. She's from New York, but this is what I mean, Pascal Saucer. New Yorkers fucking love burgers, especially in Harlem. Lumi is American, kick her out for not liking burgers. Yeah, she's a New Yorker, which actually surprisingly makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't catch on to that beforehand before she mentioned it. Lumi's a northern white woman who's obsessed with figures. She prefers greens and hates burgers by default. Yeah, Lumi lives on a diet of like one thin slice of a tomato and like one leaf of cabbage, right? Not one tomato. She lives off one slice of a tomato and like one piece of a leaf of cabbage. Anyway, Lumi started ranting in the recent stream about not liking the active eating period, and chat started really scolding her for it. Oh god, yeah, she sounds like an anorexic. Bloody hell, sounds like she's got some kind of eating disorder, bless her. And then this is the next one. This might get some of your cocks hard. I don't know. Here we've got a good old-fashioned American steak here, medium rare with shrimp, broccoli, and mashed potatoes. Let me guys tell you something. I was not prepared for American mashed potatoes. I was especially not prepared for Southern American mashed potatoes. In the UK, as you can probably imagine, a mashed potato is basically just a bland potato mashed up. There's no seasoning. There's nothing in it. It's just a potato, mash it up. There you go, mashed potatoes. Boom. And there's nothing in there. So I was absolutely shocked when I put some of that roast potato and some of that mashed potato in my mouth, and there was a 1-to-1 ratio of potato and butter, and there were also pieces of bacon in it as well, right? So basically, I expected to eat like a really fluffy, you know, like a really fluffy, like just basic, tasteless mashed potato, but instead I got a mouthful of butter with traces of potato in it and some bacon, which is fucking lovely. Actually, that was bloody good. The best mashed potato I've ever had. We call that a smashed potato. Ah, wow. But yeah, I even like the broccoli as well. American broccoli it hits different compared to British broccoli. And of course, as always, every single meal I have in the United States came with shrimp. I can't get enough of shrimp. So yeah, and I had some sort of, as you can see, seasoning on it. I don't know what that was. It might be Cajun, maybe. And then for dessert, I had this mint and chocolate ice cream milkshake thing. So this is a milkshake. This is a milkshake from the Chocolate Emporium, and it has an ice cream sandwich on the top, 2 mint chocolates, whipped cream that goes all the way down to the bottom of the neck, and then all this at the bottom is mint milkshake. And surprisingly, that might look very appetizing to some people. I actually thought it was quite gross. It was actually disgusting. I really didn't like it. I just like to. I did go to like an old school, like 1950s style American pharmacy that sold like old school milkshakes, where they actually put the scoops of ice cream in the glass and then mixed it all up with like the milk and the ice as well, rather than just use the mixture and the ice. So and that was $8 as well. Fucking $8 milkshake. You know, this milkshake, by the way, this milkshake was $16. The milkshake I had at the pharmacy was $8. But a milkshake for $8, that better be the best fucking milkshake I've ever had, and it was, fortunately. This $16 ridiculously over the top milkshake, yeah, not very good, honestly. It's a bit too over the top, a bit too much. There's a bit too much emphasis, I think, on the spectacle of this milkshake, and not enough effort is put into the actual like taste and quality of the milkshake itself. So the whipped cream was basically just like whipped cream you get from a can, probably from any dollar store. The ice cream sandwich at the top, it was 2 big Oreos. Basically, it's an mint Oreo ice cream. I imagine you can just buy those in a Walmart anywhere, right? So if you've ever had like an Oreo ice cream sandwich before, same thing. The ice cream inside this ice cream sandwich had the texture of whipped cream and was quite warm, which wasn't very appetizing. Those 2 little mint chocolates there were quite nice. But yeah, the actual mint, the mint milkshake itself wasn't particularly cold, and yeah, it didn't really taste that nice at all, honestly. And I'm someone who fucking loves mint. I love mint ice cream and I love mint milkshakes, and I wasn't impressed with this whatsoever, sadly. Yeah, $16 fucking milkshake, boys. Wasn't impressed with this one. A simple vanilla milkshake is more than enough. That is what I ended up having at the pharmacy. I ended up just having a simple, like 1950s style vanilla milkshake. Unfortunately, because it's not 1950s anymore, there was no cocaine in this milkshake, sadly, so it was just regular. You're breaking my heart, Maulington. Looking wasn't worth the taste. Yeah, sadly. So this is a picture I took after I went on the Revenge of the Mummy ride at Universal Studios. And when I saw this, I immediately thought, hey, look, it's Sheena Amanagawa. Speaking of Sheena, there's Sheena in her bed, the poor old hag, bless her. What do you mean by pharmacy? It wasn't actually a pharmacy. It was a place that sold like drinks and milkshakes and ice creams and stuff. But they called it a pharmacy because apparently in the 1950s, some pharmacies would also sell like milkshakes and like bubble gum and like candies and sweets and stuff. Apparently that was a thing in America in the 50s. They kind of they didn't actually sell like any medicine to make it a pharmacy. It was just kind of like a theme, right? It's like, oh, come to our ice cream and drinks shop that's like themed like a 1950s kind of, you know, that's like themed like a 1950s thing, right? That's kind of what it was. Yeah, like a retro, yeah, like the retro stuff, exactly, yeah. Canny, yay! We got some big Sheena fans here. The Crab Orc Woman, hell yeah. Crab Orc Woman love. And then here we've got, I took a picture. I found Dizzy Dokuro. Here we got picture of Hag Dizzy. Her mouth frozen in shock after Sakana's refused her raise yet again. She you first. So here we got Dizzy. And here, of course, we've got Lumi. So here, I managed to find Lumi as well whilst I was in Universal. This is Lumi's true form, guys. This is Lumi's true form. This is what she actually looks like. See, in order for Lumi to not look like this anymore, you see what she has to do. She has to steal the soul. She steals souls from chat, right? That's why she's always going chat, chat. Every time she does that, she's siphoning your life energy so that she doesn't look like this anymore. Okay, so next time you send Lumi a super chat, remember this is what she actually looks like behind the scenes. All right. Got to be real. 19 minutes till midnight is based warming up to Dizzy these days. Yeah, I've always said for the last year that Dizzy's very underrated. I really like Dizzy. I think the thing is about some VTubers, the thing about the VTubing culture is that there's a big emphasis in this industry, in this culture, about VTubers being like wacky, cringe, you know, really loud, hyperactive. You know, it's like Zoomer high school kind of mentality. And obviously, as many of us know, as hag enthusiasts and stuff, there's a lot of value to be gained from more like laid back and even-tempered streamers who are just like, you know, doing their own thing at their own pace. They can be extremely great and entertaining as well, but I find it's really difficult to explain to people why you should watch those kinds of YouTubers, though, right? Because it's kind of like, why should you watch Dizzy Dokuro? Oh, you should watch Dizzy because, you know, she's cool and she's the vibe and she's the mood and she's funny, right? Whereas when you've got like really intense personalities, you know, people like Pippa and Tem on the other hand, it's like you just show them a clip and people are like, that's hilarious, I'm gonna watch this person. Whereas you know, with the calmer VTubers, it's you have to explain more what the appeal is, and I find that difficult to do sometimes, right? Dizzy's waifu tier. Yeah, oh God, there's some jokes I want to make in the Phase Connect documentary, right? And it's a bit of a grey area, right? Because it's like I want to make some playful mockery of like some of the cringe and weird moments in their careers, right? So Dizzy released a video yesterday or the day before where she did the whole like, oh, welcome home, honey. Do you want to have a dinner? Do you want to have dinner? Like a bath or me kind of thing, right? So one thing I wanted to put in the Face documentary when I do the breakdown on Dizzy is I wanted to put that clip on there when I'm doing her rundown, and then it'd be like 10 minutes of me laughing hysterically and then saying, no, fuck off, Dizzy. Just get out of here, Dizzy. You're pathetic, you're weird, you're gross, and you're pathetic, right? So a joke kind of in that vein, right? And I think that's hilarious, but at the same time, it's like, oh, You know, is that going too far? Is that a bit, you know, is that a bit too much? I don't know. I'll see how I feel when I actually get to that part of the documentary. It's like I made that joke when I did the video on Sheena, where I listened to like some of Sheena's ASMR. I did like a live first reaction to ASMR, and I was laughing hysterically within 10 seconds of listening to ASMR. And I thought it was funny, but again, that could be considered highly, you know, obviously it could be extremely offensive, you know, that someone's done something. And then here I am, like, laughing hysterically at it, thinking it's hilarious, right? kind of back to 9 minutes of laughter. Did I say 10 minutes? I meant like 10 seconds, right? I meant 10 seconds. Karma VTubers do struggle like Yuri. Yeah, that's the thing, Vega. I've done the script for Yuri. I've done the research and I've done the script for the overview of Yuri. But of Generation 1, Iori was the most difficult person for me to do a breakdown of. Even though she, in theory, would be the easiest because she speaks English, unlike the Michi and Nasa. And the reason for it is because it's like, when I'm watching Iori streams, it's kind of like, I really enjoy Yuri streams, but they're not really like radical. She's not a person who has a massive range, I guess, of like personalities, styles, and like content. Well, she does a few things excellently rather than a lot of things, right? So it's really difficult, I find, to say multiple things about Yuri. That isn't just, you know, Yuri does a lot of streams where she talks about interests and she talks about like her vast knowledge on many things, and she's, you know, she can be a yandere sometimes, but most of the time, you know, she's normal, cool, even-tempered, great community engagement, and she talks to the chat a lot, and it's like, what else can I say about Yuri? Whereas it's like I could spend an hour talking about what Pippa's like on stream, right? So it's always a nightmare trying to like summarize the more even-tempered, sort of lower range VTubers. But being a lower range VTuber isn't a bad thing. It just makes it more difficult to talk, I guess, a lot about what the kinds of things that VTuber gets up to, right? Anyway, we're getting heavily off topic now. Oh yeah, and this is kind of, I cut the steak open as well just to show you what the inside of that bubblegum steak looks like. So that was medium rare here. That's perfect for me. I don't like raw steaks personally. Medium rare is perfect. And then a close up of the shrimp. Bloody love the shrimp in the United States. Very good. And then on the day that Hurricane Milton was coming for me in Orlando, I decided I'd go watch the Bocce the Rock movie. I didn't realise that there was a Bocce the Rock movie coming out, and it technically wasn't like a new movie. It was basically just all the episodes of Bocce put into a recap. So I still watched that anyway. I was the only person in the person in the movie theatre, which is pretty good. And it's good. I really enjoyed it still, even though I'd seen it all before. It was very good. I did enjoy watching it. Actually, on the subject of American movie theatres, it's crazy, right? This is, again, as I said before, like when you've experienced the United States, living in England it's like being in a pre-industrial society, right? In England, when you compare England to the United States, England is a country that hasn't discovered fire, and England is a country that hasn't even invented the wheel yet, whereas the United States are like flying around in spaceships and shit relative to the United Kingdom. So you go to an American movie theater, the seats are all clad in leather and they're reclining, and you can order a beer and a pizza whilst you're watching your movie. And obviously it's got my Lord and Savior, the CocaCola Freestyle machine, which I unironically worship like a god as well. So I go to an American movie theater, right? I'm basically reclined to the point I'm lying down like I'm in bed. I've got my own little tray in my seat as well with a fucking pizza on it. And I've got like a fucking, you know, as I've said before, in the United States, you don't buy a drink in the US, you buy a container. And you've got 3 different kinds of containers in the United States. You've got the big cup, you've got the bucket, and then the biggest container that they offer in the United States is that they empty a lake just down the street and they give you like a fucking lake full of drink as well. They're like okay, like you want more than a bucket of drink, here, we'll empty this fucking lake for you. We'll pour a lake full of fucking Coke in there. You can drink out of that instead, right? So in contrast, right, the cinemas in the United Kingdom, they're like being on an economy flight. So our drink from a bucket, hell yeah. So the cinemas in the UK, it's like being on an economy budget flight. So the seats are all made out of like, I don't know what fabric you call it. they're made out of cloth, right? Basically, they're made out of really cheap, like irritable cloth as well. And the seats are all like fucking stacked together, you know, like to get the maximum amount of capacity as possible. There's no space, there's no reclining, there's no luxury or comforts of any kind. And obviously you have to get all your food and drink at the front, you know, at the till outside the movie theater. There's no reclining, like there's just nothing. It's literally like being on an economy flight. So I go to the United States, I see what your cinemas are like, and again, I'm a fucking emperor, right? Like this is the most hedonistic shit I've ever experienced in my life. I feel like the emperor of China as I have my fucking servant wench bring me like 5 liters of tropical flavored Coca-Cola from the fucking lobby as I'm eating my pepperoni pizza whilst watching Bocce the Rock all by myself in like this gigantic movie theater that has so much space in it. Everyone in front of me and below me isn't like obstructing my view. They're not obstructing my view, and I can like just put my feet up and shit, right? It's absolutely mental. It's like seeing human civilization. Absolutely crazy. I'm blown away by American cinemas. Oi, governor, you got a license for that comfy seat? We're not allowed anything nice in the UK because the UK has this obsession with needing things, you see. The United Kingdom is very much the exact opposite of the United States. The reason why I fucking love the United States is because Americans fucking love freedom and Europeans, right? They fucking hate freedom. So what that means is, right? You go to an American, right? And you're like, and Americans are like, did you know you can do this thing? And Americans are like, hell yeah. And then they're like, well, you don't need this thing, so we're going to take it away. And even though the American doesn't use that thing, doesn't care for it, they go, no, you ain't taking that thing away. I like that thing, right? Fuck off. Stop trying to take things away from me. That's how Americans think. Whereas in the United Kingdom, our attitude always is, well, do you need this thing? No, I don't really need it. So we're going to take it away from you because you don't need it. And then British people reason themselves into thinking as to why that's okay. So it's like, yeah, you know what? We don't need cars actually. You know what? Because actually we can just get the public transport, I guess. Even though I live 2 hours away from my place of work in the countryside, I don't technically need a car. I can just wait 3 hours for the bus to get here instead. Yeah, I don't need that thing really, do I? That's the way the British mentality works, and that's why I can't fucking stand this country. Is that British people fucking hate having things, right? And thus they always reason themselves out of needing something. Anyway, let's not get into why I hate the United Kingdom. It's supposed to be a stream about why I love the United States. I'm actually tempted to make a kind of half shitpost video about why the United States is the greatest country in the world and why the UK is the worst country in the world, and kind of do like a meme comparison video. That might be funny. I don't know when I'll do that. I'll do that at some point. US theatres have to compete with home movies, so they make it absurdly luxurious as possible. That makes sense. I think one criticism I have about US movie theatres, though, is that the movie doesn't actually start until about 50 minutes after the advertised time because of all the fucking advertisements you have during the movie. Whereas in the UK, the movies generally do start at the time that they're advertised, right? So I was like, oh shit, I'm 10 minutes late for the Bocce movie. Oh no, and then I get there and it's like, oh no, I haven't missed the movie, and there's still another 40 minutes of fucking advertisements before the movie even starts. So yeah, your love for Coca-Cola is very endearing. Seriously, you should have seen my face when I saw all these different types of Coca-Cola I could drink, man. In the UK, we have nothing but lemon Coke and regular Coke. So I see lime, I see tropical, I see like peach, all these choices, and I'm like, oh, I must try them all. I will put them all into one cup. But this is the fundamental difference, right, between the United States and the United Kingdom. In the United States, you have choices. You have lots and lots of choices, and you never have enough choices. Americans are always asking for more choices, whereas in the UK, we hate choices. We want as few choices as possible. In fact, we want the few choices we already have. We want them taken away. We want fewer choices at all times. That's why I fucking love America. It's the greatest country on the planet, because Americans are never happy with anything. Americans do not do satisfied. An American never goes, yep, that's good enough. Americans always want more, and I fucking love that shit. I always want more as well. I want more flavors of Coke. I want more Coke. I want my tropical Coke back. I'm suffering from major withdrawal, you guys. I want Coke. I don't want this shit basic bitch normal Coke. I want my tropical Coke back, and I can't fucking get it here. Oh Oh well, never mind. Maybe I'll get rich one day, then I can go on a holiday to America every month. Maybe I can go to America every month. Well, I can just imagine it now. I can just picture it now, putting my cup on that Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, trademarked, and just seeing that delicious red syrup and black liquid building up, and then I slam the cup into the ice dispensing machine, and a fucking avalanche falls on my hand and crushes my hand because there's so much fucking ice in the machine as well. And it's like, hell yeah, man, this cold drink is gonna last me in the Florida sun. Well, I mean, I'm gonna drink it in about 2 minutes, right? But if I carry this around with me, this drink would still be cold for another 12 hours. Hey, Himawari, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you, my friends. How are you doing this fine evening, Himawari? Yeah, that's out of control in US theaters. It's funny as well because there was this woman. There's this I don't know. She must be some kind of like influencer woman. In between the movie adverts and shit, would say, "Oh, your movie will be starting soon," and then like it'd be another 40 minutes and the movie still hadn't fucking started yet. And I'd be like, "Hey, you said the movie would be starting soon, you lying bitch." Ooh, yesterday you bought an old World War I Springfield 1903 rifle from a guy in the Fleet Farm parking lot. I'd love to buy one of those as well. If I was an American, I would definitely buy the Springfield. I'd buy the old Winchester. I'd buy the Winchester lever action. I'd buy a Browning high power. I'd buy a 1911. I'd buy every single revolver ever made as well. I fucking love revolvers. I'd buy an M24. I'd buy a Remington 870. I'd buy an AR-15. I'd buy a Knight's Armament SR-15, technically speaking. I'd buy an SR-25. I'd buy an AK-105. What else would I buy? I'd buy a Benelli M4. I don't like Glocks. I wouldn't buy a Glock. I'd buy a USP. What's the pistol that John Wick uses? Don't tell me it's a Glock. I quite like the pistol that John Wick uses. I'd buy that one as well. That's a good pistol. Maulington doing a Coca-Cola machine ASMR stream one day. Yeah. That one scene from Demolition Man. That's basically me. If I went to a gun shop in the United States, I would be Simon Phoenix. I'm basically Simon Phoenix when I go to like the Coca-Cola machine in the United States. I'm like fucking going, woo! Sweet mama! Oh, what's the waiting period on that tropical Coke? And then what happens is, right, there's a guy in front of me in the line, and he's in between me and my Coke. So I say, "What? Hello, sir. What's your bargle? How much do you weigh?" And then I fucking throw him through the glass, get him out of the way so I can get my goddamn Coke. Oh yeah, an M1 Garand as well. I buy an M1 Garand. I'd buy an M14. I'd buy a Vietnam era M16. Let's see what else. I would buy an M4 and then I would modify the M4 after Shugart's. Is it Shugart or is it Gordy who had that sniper M4 configuration in Black Hawk Down? You know, that early 2000s Delta Force M4 sniper. I'd buy one of those as well with a suppressor and the ACOG on the top. That's a sexy looking rifle. Oh, carbine. Oh yeah, and of course I'd buy an SA-58 as well. Shugart, it was Shugart, was it? Yeah. Shugart had the M14, Gordy had the M4. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd buy those as well. Like, so like to give you guys an example, like to tell you guys what Maulington would do if he did become an American and retired in the United States. So my dream, right? My American dream is this. I want to live in Alabama, Texas, Florida, or North Carolina. I want to live in a house that's by the lake and has woods on it at the same time. I want to have a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine in my house at all times, ready, good to go. I'll hire servants to fill it up with syrup for me. I'll have about $50,000 worth of gun in like my basement or something. Like I'll have like a John Wick, you know, like that scene in John Wick where you've got like that maitre guy, that English guy, you know, who has the war full of all the different guns, and John's like, he's like, "What do you want for dessert, Mr. Wick?" You know, that'll be my basement, right? And then I'll basically have like some Louisiana chef living in like. Will be like living in the kitchen, right? So that at any point he needs to be ready at a moment's notice to make me like shrimp and lobsters and crabs and grits and shit, right? So I'll have my own live-in cook, and I'll have a big back garden, a big back garden that's also woods as well. And what I'll do is I'll have like loads of targets in my back garden woods, right? And what I'll do is in the evenings when I'm bored, I'll dress up like I'm in the Rhodesian Light Infantry, and I'll be LARPing in my back garden with my FAL or my SA-58, and I'll be and I'll be running through my back garden pretending I'm shooting communists like it's the Rhodesian Bush War. That's my American dream right there. Get your double wide trailer in Alabama. Hell yeah, buddy. Actually, yeah, that could actually work out. Imagine it'd be quite cheap, a trailer as well. Get myself a white beater, have a beer in my hand at all times, wear sandals, and just like fucking communicate by throwing half-empty bottles of beer at people. That's the real American dream right there. You know, Alabama has some houses for as low as $80,000 for a 4-bedroom house, if you don't mind being in literal nowhere. This is the thing, Himawari. I would love to be living in literally nowhere, as long as I've got like internet access and can find a job that would allow me to work remotely. That sounds like the dream, honestly. Finally, a good immigrant. Maulington doing his LARP as a cellar scout in Alabama. That's exactly what I would do, Pablo. I'd be LARPing. I'd be spending my final days LARPing as a cellar scout in fucking Alabama. How? Why does it have to be LARPing, right? If Mr. Trump wants me to get rid of those pesky Californians, all he has to do is ask. Oh dear. You want me to deal with the Californian problem in Texas, boys? Just give me some short shorts, give me a flak jacket, and give me 50,000 rounds of 7.62 times 5.1. All right, I'll sort your California problem out. I am joking. Not really. I am, but I'm not. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. So as I was approaching kind of like the end of my trip, I went on the ET ride, which Pascal Saucer tells me is the only ride in Universal Studios that has been around since it opened. Since the Jaws ride went away many years ago, sadly, I quite enjoyed that Jaws ride. I fucking love this ride as well. This ride is so much fun. It's just like a really vibing ride where you go along on like a bicycle kind of thing, kind of modeled after like the ET bikes in the movie. And there's just like a bunch of animatronics and like set pieces from the movie. So you start off in the woods where like the government, you know, ET is actually a really great movie for people who are anti-glowy, because ET is basically an anti-glowy movie. It's about NASA are coming for ET, right? And it's like NASA hate, right? It's like government hate. The government are coming for ET, and we need to get ET back to safety, back to his tax-free home on another planet. Hi Jerry. Yeah, I made a joke when I took this picture. I made a joke on Twitter that I said, "Oh, I met Jerry. This is Jelly Hoshiumi right here, right? You can tell this is Jerry." Because what Jerry's done is she's had a surgical procedure to replace her finger here with a cigarette lighter so she can keep lighting it up, you see. That's what this is here. You see, this isn't a magical healing device. This is just a cigarette lighter for Jerry. Finding so many phase members at Universal Studios. They belong in a fucking museum. These some of those Phase Connect YouTubers. It's introducing disjunctive glows into kids, which is based. It is actually. That's exactly what ET's doing. Poor Jelly getting roasted on Phase Leaky by Dizzy today. Unfortunately, I haven't seen this week's Phase Weekly. I've still got a splitting headache and I've got like the flu or I'm ill or something after coming back from holiday. I always get ill after like the plane ride there or the plane ride home. I actually had whooping cough the last time I went to the United States. I caught whooping cough from someone on the fucking plane, which wasn't fun. I was coughing up blood at one point. But ET was a good alien. Replace it with a xenomorph. Yeah. Poor Jelly. That's Jerry too after too many cigarettes. Yeah. I've got a meme. I've got actually a meme. When I do the Jerry overview in the Phase documentary, Jelly's meme is going to be ET. I'm basically going to stick Jerry's hair on ET, right? And then instead of ET making like his little ET noises where he's going, it's going to be Jelly going, ah, wah, 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 wah. Hopefully the meme lands. Anyway. And then I took some pictures of the Harry Potter Gringotts ride. There's some cool This is basically, if you've ever been to London, this is basically every British person who works in finance, even if they're 20, even 20-year-old British people who work in finance look like this, by the way. Yeah, the finance in the city of London does this to a motherfucker. I mean, these aren't props, right? These aren't goblins. This is a British person. This is the true form of a British person. And then yeah, this is like the receptionist dude here. It's an actual banker here. These aren't animatronics. These are real British bankers. And then I think this is my last screenshot now. Yeah, and that's the end of the trip. So on the last day, I bought a replica of the wand cane that Lucius Malfoy has in the Harry Potter movies, right? I actually bought it. It cost me $150, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised with the quality of this thing. So I thought this would be like some really cheap, like poorly made tat. It's not a silver. This snake head here, this isn't fully silver. It's silver plated, but it is metal. This is actually made out of proper metal. It's actually quite high quality, and it's silver plated, and it does have little emeralds inside the snake eyes. So yeah, I bought the wand cane that Lucius Malfoy has. So I'm going to be going through my villain arc soon. Oh, how did I get it through customs? I'll tell you this was a bitch to get through customs. I'll tell you how I got this through the TSA in a minute. I'll tell you I had no problems with the TSA getting into America. I had a lot of problems with the TSA getting out of America. I'll tell you that in just a moment. But anyway, for you guys who don't know, this is what concealed carry looks like in the United Kingdom. You see, we're not allowed guns in the UK, but we are allowed wands, so we conceal our wands inside our walking canes, right? So I have a concealed carry license, so I am allowed to carry this wand publicly in the UK, because I am allowed to conceal my wand. Basically, what I tend to do, my favorite go-to is Crucio and Avada Kedavra. These are my favorite spells. You see, when I'm going to work in the morning and there's a traffic jam, I just start screaming I roll down the window, I pull out my wand, and I just start screaming Avada Kedavra, right? Avada Kedavra! Crucio! Crucio! Stop doing that to motherfuckers, get him out of the way. Crucio! Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Come, Harry, we must observe the niceties. We must start with a bow. Yep, that's the end. Okay. So, let me tell you about my customs story getting out. Let me tell you my TSA story trying to get out of the United States. So, I've got my wand. It's in a big box. My wand cane. It's in a giant box that's about as tall as that. This cane, by the way, is about. I'm 5'8", so I'd say this wand is about 5 foot long. This wand is. Right, so it's a very big wand. It's a very big wand cane. So I'm carrying this through customs. And I speak to the first guy who like offloads your luggage and shit onto the plane, and I'm like, am I allowed to bring this on board, right? Because I can't fit this in the suitcase. So I'm like, am I allowed to bring this on board onto the actual plane? And he goes, yeah, that's fine. And then obviously I do my due diligence. I do at every opportunity declare to every TSA agent I come across that I have this box, that I have this big long box, and in it is it's a walking stick, right? I mean, that is what it is. It is a walking stick. So I say I've got this walking stick in my box, and of course the TSA being a TSA, they don't fucking listen to me, right? They're always shoveling me along. Then obviously we get to the X-ray point, right, where you have to take your shoes off and you put your bags in and shit. And then they stop me and they start getting all antsy, right? And they want to cut the box open and have a look at what's inside this thing that I've been warning them about my entire journey through customs. And this guy pulls me along, right? And he's really confused, right? I don't know what the X-ray of this thing inside the box is showing to them. But he looks really, really concerned. So this TSA guy pulls me over and he's like, he even sounds really concerned. He's like, sir, what's in this box? He sounds just like this as well. He's like, sir, what's in this box? And I go, walking stick. And he goes, it's what? It's a walking stick. He goes, a walking stick, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you mind opening this up for me, sir? And I'm like, I mean, I could. I need a knife or something to open the box up. And he goes, sir, do I have your permission to open up this box? And then like, I see like seven TSA agents all like going around my fucking walking stick box. And they're acting like they're the fucking bomb squad. They don't know what the fuck is in this box, and they're all really, really concerned about it. And then, like, after about fucking 30 minutes of confirming that I am in fact not a Death Eater, that after confirming I am in fact not out to murder a bunch of mudbloods, they're happy that it is in fact a harmless walking stick. So they give it back to me. They stick a giant TSA inspected and improved on it, and then they let me go. So, as I get to the actual part where you actually go on board, right, and they look at your passport, the TSA agent looks at the photo I have on my passport, and to be fair, I have a really bad passport photo at the moment because I used to have a handlebar mustache and I shaved it off about 6 months ago, and my passport photo still has me with the handlebar mustache on it, right? So I do see where the guy's coming from. But anyway, he opens up the passport photo with me with a giant handlebar mustache. It seems to be handlebar mustache less, and he's like, "Maulington, is this you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "Maulington, are you sure this is you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure that's me." And he's like, "Are you sure this is you, Maulington?" I swear to God, right? This is the back and forth that's going on. I'm not making this up. He goes, "Are you sure this is you, Maulington?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that is me. This doesn't look like you, Maulington." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've shaved the mustache since then, but that is me." And he's like, "Maulington, this isn't you, Maulington, is it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." "Maulington, are you sure that, Maulington, this isn't you?" And I'm like, "It is." And he's like, "This definitely isn't you, Maulington." But then after he does all that, he just fucking lets me through anyway, and he gives me my passport back. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay then. Right? I made a post about this on Twitter. So after I went through that, I was like, stupid fucking infidel. Allahu Akbar, lads. Right? He's the stupid kafir has let me through onto the flight. Allahu Akbar. Dumb infidel has let me through. My plan will work. But anyway, yeah. So the TSA, I think, aren't doing their jobs properly. This guy was convinced that I was committing passport fraud, but he let me through anyway. I imagine his thought probably was, he was probably thinking, you know what, this guy is leaving the United States, so if he is a suicide bomber and blows up like some fucking town in the UK, that's not our problem. He's actually, get him out of here. Get this guy out of here, right? He's not committing a terrorist attack on the UK. He's doing it on the US. He's doing it in the UK. I don't care. Let him go, right? Fuck him off. It's the British problem now. It's not our problem. That's probably his attitude. So if there are any brothers out there who are fighting the good fight, if you want to bomb the United Kingdom, the trick is to enter United Kingdom through the United States, because the TSA agents will just let you through and do your thing as long as you don't do it in the United States. There's some advice for you. But yeah, anyway, that was my trip to the United States. I always love going to America. I always love eating and drinking a shit ton of stuff in America. And I much prefer the company of Americans to British people, I do say. I know I'm there as a tourist, right? I'm only there for 2 weeks. I'm not there for I don't live and work in the United States. Maybe if I lived and worked in the United States, I'd have a different opinion of Americans and Mexicans. But I don't know. There's just something about the personality of your average, each American state's different. I've been to New York, for example. I don't like New Yorkers. New Yorkers are scum. Sorry, but they are. I hate New Yorkers. I like Floridians. I like Texans for the most part. Texans can have some real assholes in them as well. I've never met anyone from Alabama. I'll figure out probably next year what people from Alabama are like. And people from North Carolina seem nice enough. But I just really like Americans. They're very different to British people. Americans tend to be more earnest and honest, and they tend to be more just laid back and just vibing, going with the times. Whereas British people are really sometimes stuck up, very arrogant, very self-absorbed, and just very cold, and perhaps overly concerned with inconveniencing people, and it actually gets on my nerves, right? So the difference between the United States and the UK is in the UK, when people want something very basic from you, let's say someone wants the time from you, they'll come up to you and they'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. I don't mean to bother. And if you can't, that's fine. Don't worry if you can't at all. But I was perhaps wondering if perhaps you would perchance tell me what what the time was, and it's like, oh my fucking god, mate, just tell me what you fucking want from me, and I'll give it to you. I don't care. You want the time from me? You could just ask me, excuse me, what's the time, and I'd fucking give you the time. You don't need to say please and thank you like 20 million fucking times before you even answer the question, and like fucking excuse yourself like 100. What do you fucking want, you limey piece of shit? Whereas in the United States, they're like, hey man, they're like, hey buddy, they're like, hey buddy. How much longer are the line do you think, man? They're like, hey buddy, you got the time? And it's like, yeah man, here's the time. And it's like, hey, they're like, oh hey man, this pizza, hey, it's undercooked, ain't it, buddy? Yeah, you know what I mean? they just come out with it, and they're just so laid back. Whereas British people piss me the fuck off. Just get to the fucking point. It does my fucking head in. British people. I was like, oh excuse me, Whereas Americans are just like, hey man, just go up to a random person like, hey man, what's going on? I love that shit. Like, all right, buddy. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end the stream next. I've got a big fucking headache now. Yeah, I really need to go. I need to try and get back on my regular sleep schedule because I need a holiday as a break from my holiday. Honestly, I'm not in a good state of health at the moment. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I had a lot of fun today's stream. It wasn't really meant to be an hour long. However, in true Maulington fashion, I've ended up yapping for 3 hours. Yeah, my plans at the moment, now I'm home, is I'm going to continue working on the script for the Fairs Connect documentary. The Flavour documentary is still, I've kind of left Flavour half completed. In order for me to finish the Flavour documentary, I just need to get the timeline right for that one. I've done like all the video essay and commentary part I want to do for that, and I've done most of the early timeline of Flavour. I think before I get Flavour done, the only thing about Flavour I'm not sure about is the Twitter drama that happens during Flavour. I want to get a proper timeline of what happened, why, the fallout, and what happened there. Before I get the Flavour documentary done, all the easy stuff is done. So I just want to get that. I just want to get the Twitter like drama timeline stuff sorted out before I'm ready to go with that documentary. So I think with the Flavour documentary, my plan at the moment is to, first episode will be a recap and a timeline as to how Flavour came to be, and then obviously I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about as well why Flavour is very significant in VTubing and kind of like the more big picture, like kind of social experiment element of it. And then I'm going to take a look at obviously Senna Bonbon's career as a content creator. And then for episode 2, I'm planning to do Nyana Banyana, Mina Vanilla, and a little bit of Miliardo Beercraft as well for episode 2. I think for episode 3 of the Flavour documentary, I was looking at doing sour grapes, and I was looking at doing Raimi Ricotta, and I might add 1 or 2 more Flavour people in there. For episode 4, I'm going to take a look at Juan Sugar Bloom. I'm going to take a look at as well a little bit on Donut. Basically, by episode 4, I want to get all of Gen 1 certainly done. And then from episode 5 onwards, I'll kind of talk, I guess, about, you know, what the other people of Flavour are kind of going up to. I might do it generation by generation kind of thing, as close as I can do. I know not every Flavour person is necessarily part of a generation of Flavour, but yeah, I think certainly the first 5 episodes of Flavour are definitely like high priority things I want to do, and then after that it will kind of be stuff I'll do as and when I kind of feel like it, to see, you know, what the other Flavour people are kind of up to these days as well. But yeah, I need to finish off the script for Faith Connect, get that one out first, and then Flavour should be done like 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks after I've got the face doc out. And then after that, my plans are to do Shiki Miyashino, plans are to do my immediate plans are to do Irie first after Flavour. Then I'm going to do Shiki Miyashino. I might do Iori and Nasa after that. And then my plan is to either do Girl DM or to do the Kirsche documentary. I know everyone will probably want me to do the Kirsche documentary, right? Because it's the Spicy Fox. I might do Girl DM first. So the Kirsche documentary, I might start work on that March time probably. Flavour, yeah. When I was streaming the last 3 hours. Yep, normal Maulington stream. Why Flavour? When Flavour? Why Flavour? Where Flavour? What Flavour? Oh yeah, Kara. Oh yeah, I forgot. That was it. That's who I was forgetting. episode 5 was going to be Dr. Lily, was going to be both lines. I was going to do bro lime and female lime. I might be able, maybe I can fit bro lime in episode 3 with Sour and Rainy. I think, obviously, I know how episode 1 is going to be structured. I think, given how much shit Nyana Banyana's done, I think doing Mina Vanilla and Nyana Banyana is definitely enough for episode 2. For episode 3, I might be able to fit bro lime in with Rainy and Sour Grapes, maybe. Might be able to fit him in with those two. Oh, there's 3 limes. I only know of 2 limes. God. Yeah, Cara, have you got time actually? In a moment, leave me the 3rd lime. I know cis lime and I know bro lime. Is there another cis lime? Is there another bro lime I'm not aware of? Check them out. Poor Kirsten, she's going to put herself into the poor house just to buy a crappy house in Massachusetts. I don't know anything about the state of Massachusetts. No, let's not have this conversation. Like, I'll have this conversation another time. I want to rest now. I want to go to bed. Okay, anyway. Thank you very much for tuning in for today's guys stream. Yeah, I'm just fucking going to end the broadcast now. My brain is fucked. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning up. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the donations. And have a good evening. Take care, guys.